Hey, GLP-1 plus sides community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Hey everyone, before we dive in, I really want to share something personal with you. About, I want to say like 8 to 10 months ago, after losing 100 pounds on GLP-1s and keeping it off for a long time, I started regaining out of nowhere, and I was terrified. But I also started having hot flashes and bouts of crying and snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. unable to go back to sleep. It turns out I was in perimenopause. So I started hormone replacement therapy, which is also called HRT, through a telehealth called Winona that specializes in this. And it changed everything. And now I'm sleeping better. And my hot flashes are all but gone, thank God. And I feel like myself again. And it turns out that you can actually start perimenopause as early as 35. And well, I'm 46 and she's here. HRT has really come a long way and there's just no need to suffer anymore. So if you're like this and you're in the same boat, you can check out buywinona.com and you can use the link in our link tree to save some money.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster, confidence higher, price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Discover freedom and weight loss with Iveen, the top prescriber of GLP-1 medications. GLP-1s combat cravings, stabilize blood sugar, boost energy, and balance A1C levels for a regulated body and a kick-started weight loss journey. Iveen makes medical weight loss accessible, affordable, and personal. Schedule a free consultation with a medical provider to explore if GLP-1 medications are the right fit for you. Goodbye restrictions. Hello, Iveen, your path to sustainable weight loss.
It's time for a change rooted in lasting evidence-backed wellness. Say goodbye to unsustainable diet culture with Friday's weight management program. A nationwide virtual care platform built to address your biology.
The reason why I started Fridays is that I noticed that patients with obesity are often improperly treated and told to eat less and move more. Well, the science is in, and we now know that obesity is a chronic medical condition like high blood pressure and diabetes, and that there are many factors, including your genetics, that play a role in the development of obesity. We understand this at Fridays, and that's why we make sure to order labs and specific medications that work with you and your biology.
We're revolutionizing weight management, steering clear of weight loss fads, and embracing a scientifically driven approach. Our program charts a path to a healthier you, leveraging evidence-based treatments, nutritional support, and a team of specialized clinicians dedicated to guiding you towards optimal health. We ensure swift appointment scheduling and provide a knowledgeable insurance team for handling prior authorizations for GLP-1 medication. Fridays will also provide safe, compounded GLP-1 medication alternatives with fair and industry-leading pricing. Our eligibility quiz will match you with a provider that corresponds with your medical needs. Go to joinfridays.com to begin your journey to a healthier you today.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, hey. Hi, friends.
Kimmy, you're muted, love.
Even my welcome didn't happen. One more time. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I had to be quiet because the child was putting up the dogs and he like wrangles them. Like the way he is, like, and it's so wrangles them. And he like, because he's small and like, so he's always like, he feels like he has to have a big voice. And then it's just very loud. And it was like right in the middle of all the things. So Just okay. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Wednesday. The whole team.
Found my microphone cover.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
I break things today.
I break things too. I bet before long this light's gonna fall right on my head. I haven't figured out how to like balance it just yet. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so cool. So we will likely be here a minute because this is going to be our community roundtable like we did for the last Oprah episode where she talked about GLP-1s for the first time. So now we have another one. And it was a doozy. And the fact that she has left Weight Watchers, of course, was like Christmas to me. We all know how I feel about it.
Oh, hey, Terry. We want to say it louder. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'm being egged on.
Oh, do it again.
There we go. Hump day.
There we go. There it is. I'm going to have some caffeine now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
What's important, I think, when stuff like this happens, and what was important last time, is to share different perspectives.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff runs really deep with us, right? And so I wanted to make sure that we had a panel that was diverse and we could really consider different people's, point of view and past and opinions. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do again today. So you're going to see some familiar faces. So how about we go ahead and invite on our panel?
Sounds good.
Excited. Let's do it.
All right. Here it comes.
Hey, y'all.
There we go.
Tonight. We got the 2K team tonight. I love it.
Yeah, man, look at this. We got everybody.
Awesome.
We do.
Yes. So I just thought, like, in terms of where you are in your journey, your backgrounds and everything like that, you would just really represent really well.
Mhm.
So thanks so much for coming on. And
Yeah.
what we're going to do is bring up different clips from the episode and then kind of roundtable discuss it. And let's just all try to be respectful and kind like we try to on here, and listen and, try to consider other people's perspectives too, because it helps,
Yeah.
We've learned a lot doing this. I think that's kind of what this show's all about, right? Is that we learn,
Absolutely.
and then we grow and then we heal, and it's really important. So
That's right.
let's try. I think let's go ahead and cue it up. What do you think, Producer Kat?
You ready to play it? You ready to play the first clip?
And community, don't forget to tag in. If you got feelings about something,
That is right.
Please do. We want to hear from you.
We do.
yes.
It's so important. You're part of this too.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yes. All right.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
All right. So let's start with the first one. Y'all ready?
Party started.
There we go. Let it rip. Woohoo.
17% of patients discontinued medication because of side effects. Now, the vast majority of which were gastrointestinal. And we asked Dr. Jennifer Ashton, chief medical correspondent for ABC News, to share her expertise on the side effects. She is board certified in obesity medicine, a practicing OBGYN, has a master's degree in nutrition. Here's Dr. Jen.
Oprah, I'm so glad we're talking about this. Let me give you some historical context and perspective on this class of medication, the GLP-1 agonists. People often don't realize that these were first FDA approved in the United States for help in managing type 2 diabetes almost 20 years ago. So we have extensive safety and efficacy data. They have a good track record. However, when you talk about risks, I think you need to ask 4 questions. What are the risks of taking these drugs versus what are the risks of not taking these drugs? What are the benefits of taking these drugs? And what are the benefits of not taking these drugs? We know conclusively that if you do not treat or manage the conditions of overweight or obesity, the risks are significant. Increased risks of heart attack, stroke, various types of cancer. That has to be part of this decision-making analysis. So take a very rare potential risk or side effect of this class of medication. If a risk is noted to occur 1 out of every 100,000 times, that's rare. That's one case. But if all of a sudden 1 million people are on that drug, you're going to see that rare risk or side effect 10 times. What I tell patients is if you had high blood pressure, if you had high cholesterol, if you had depression, you would treat it. It is conclusively known that the conditions of overweight and obesity are complex, chronic disease states, not character flaws, Oprah, so they should be managed accordingly.
Quick pause here. I've had moments on my GLP-1 journey where insurance changes or rising costs force me to look for a new provider. And honestly, that process can feel very overwhelming. But that's why the Plus Sides podcast has partnered with GLP Winner to give our subscribers a resource to help them make that decision easier. GLP Winner is a comparison platform that lets you explore telehealth providers in all 50 states, whether you're looking for brand name medications or compounded options. You can see pricing up front, read reviews, and get a clear picture of which provider might align best with your needs. Check it out today at glpwinner.com/plus-sides. That's glpwinner.com/plus-sides. Don't forget the Z. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
Oh, I love that so much, Dr. Jen. Thank you. It's a disease, not a character flaw. So,
Hallelujah, amen.
Oh, come with it, okay?
Yes.
It's really hard for me to like see her and say these things because back when we all got here, so like you guys all know, we're working on a documentary about the birth of the movement, right? But back when we were starting to create in summer of last year. So I started creating, not last year, before that. So I started creating GLP content in October, but I started taking the medicine in July of 2022.
Wow.
And when that was happening, the news was vilifying us. And she was too. And it's very hard for me to hear her talk this way now because it's representative of the fact that everybody's got a boss. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't until Weight Watchers got in the game, in the GLP game, before everything just flipped around just like that. Because I remember that this particular doctor, who's an obesity specialist, specifically listed Ozempic face as a side effect on one of the spots, as a side effect. And I was so upset by it. But let me tell you, the minute they announced that Weight Watchers had bought Sequence, everything changed for that show. Everything changed. So it's very hard for me to believe anything she says. Not my opinion. What do you think?
Well, to be fair, like we've seen a lot of people like kind of change their minds. Like we have big champions in the community that are like providers that felt differently about different aspects of GLP medication, compound being one of them, people not being on them that were trying to only lose 25 or 30 pounds. People feel a lot different about a lot of aspects about these medications. So I think, Oprah's a human too. She's allowed to change her mind. She's allowed to feel differently. And maybe the reason she feels differently is because she went on the medication and now she gets it. Maybe that's part of it.
Oh,
right?
no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean Oprah. I meant the doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, you meant Jen Ashton?
Yeah. I meant the doctor. Oh, girl, you know I forgive Oprah anything.
Okay.
Good Lord.
You know that.
I'd forgive her anything. But that's me. But yeah, so I think like I'm curious what y'all think. I'm excited that Oprah's come around and hallelujah seen it and GLP-1 evangelist now. There she really is. She's one of us. Yeah. And but I'm curious, like, what about you, Tiffany? What do you think?
I love Dr. Jen. I watch her all the time on GMA3, all of the above. And so when she was talking though, I was trying to remember too when you were talking about what she was saying before. And I feel like I've heard a few things, but not a lot. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, when she called her name, I was like, that's my girl. Like, I know that she is going to go to bat for us because she is an obesity specialist. And if that was the case, though, I do agree with Lydia, though. People definitely can change. We have to allow them to be able to change. Now, I was a little bit surprised knowing that she is an obesity specialist, and she should have already known about this kind of. Like, she had the inside scoop. And so I would think that your thoughts would already be different. So that's the only thing that kind of surprises me about it. But I felt really good with her statement. Because even I say that as well. Like, if I had to choose, like, going down the same road that I was going down, high cholesterol. People talk about high blood pressure, things like that in relation to, trying to take the meds and not have any of that.
Yeah.
Just be good. Like, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah. That's, I totally get your perspective. And I do think, like you said, we have seen a lot of people change, and this is a movement, right? And a lot of times with movements, it's about hearing more and more and more positions and perspectives, and also it can be a little, thank you for your membership, but it can also be a little mob mentality sometimes. I think we see it on TikTok, we see it in the news, we see it in this country. Where it's like if everybody is, look, Tiffany.
Look who it is.
favorite.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness.
But I think, it's a good point, it's like you said, it was because she's a doctor, but I just think everybody has a boss. And I got always felt like there was like puppets and strings when it comes to the media,
The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
I feel like it's also a bigger thing where it's not your fault. It's not about willpower. That didn't reach the mainstream until these drugs came out, and they had big drug companies that have millions of dollars of budgets to say, put this message out there now, because it was all diets make money off of, it's your fault. And now there's something that's not your fault that they can make money off of. So that's kind of my cynical perspective. I mean, again, better late than never that this message is out there, but it took having something to sell for people to be like, oh yeah, maybe this isn't just people being lazy, It's frustrating in a way.
Yeah, it is frustrating. That's how I feel when I hear her speak at all, is I feel frustrated because I know how many spots that she was a part of but again, like, I know she can only say what she can say. She's got a job, and I mean, that's the thing. But yeah, what about you, Kim? What'd you think?
It is frustrating to see someone like her, like, just 180 on that whole thing, because a year ago I had people being like, why are you taking these medications and stuff? Like, the people that I care about in my life, they're supportive, but I had folks being like, well, why are you taking this? Why are you doing that? I mean, just go get weight loss surgery. And I'm like, first of all, I can't, but I started approaching it very much from a mental health perspective for me. And that's something that I feel like is missing from the conversation and needs to be talked about more, because it's not as simple as calories in, calories out. Mm-hmm. And with the media flip on GLP-1 medications now, people are starting to open up that maybe there's more to the story than just they can't put the fork down. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's more to the story than just, they're not exercising enough. Maybe this is a physical issue. Maybe it's a mental health issue. Let's start looking at it from all perspectives. And while I'm glad that the conversation is changing and progressing, it's so frustrating that it took, like Nick said, that it took a company having to sell a product before we got to that point. It took having someone as powerful as Oprah to say, yeah, I'm on Ozempic, for people to be like, well, I guess it's not too bad,
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's America. Like, it's so funny because I'm such a brat. I was like, when she was like, we're starting the conversation, I'm like, lady, we've been talking about this for 18 months. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love you, Oprah.
Where you been?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, but you're not starting the conversation.
Man, I was on Ozempic in 2021. Okay.
Right. I remember people being on the drug before that.
Yeah. But I'm glad you're with us now.
Took you a while to get here.
Mm-hmm. We're glad everybody's with us. Okay, that's a whole nother thing. Okay.
Well, and Rhea actually made a good point that I thought of too. Is why do people immediately, like, Kim, I'm so sorry that people just jumped and said, "Oh, you should just go get surgery." Why do people think it's normal to go alter your body rather than to try a medication first? Like, why? Why is that
like a real quick outpatient procedure? Like,
how did that become a normal thing? Hey, let's make your stomach as big as a banana peel before you try a medication, because it's scary. It's an injection. Don't do it.
Yeah. And Lydia, that's the crazy part
with the medication, though, because people are like, "Oh, it's gonna paralyze your stomach." And I'm like, and what do you think lap bands and gastric bypass?
Right. What do you think those?
Right. That there's also complications and risk with those, and I'm not even a candidate because of my ED.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
And I feel like that's the crazy part, though, because there's so many people that say that it's okay, but then there's like 10 times the people that say it's not okay. So I'm like, what do you really do? Like, what is really going to be okay? I don't feel like anything.
9 times out of 10, those people are people that have never walked in our shoes. Those people are people that can eat whatever they want, and they have a normal body, and they've never had to deal with sitting at a holiday table and going, oh, well, I better not put as much food on my plate as my brain really wants, because then what does that look like to other people? What is that going to do to my body? How's that going to affect my weight? How, they've never lived in that body before, so they don't get it. They just don't.
Yeah.
They don't, but now, because of the Oprah effect, now, and I'm pretty sure we can all of us that are here on the panel, and probably many of us, out in the chat, can attest to, after that special aired, inboxes were flooded, questions, comments on TikTok posts, and it was just like the interest was peaked. But it wasn't just the interest. And I'm not sure if anyone agrees with this, but people are now talking about openly, like white knuckling it and how hard it is. And they never maybe used to say white knuckling, but now people are starting to talk about it and being more vocal. And if anyone tries to body shame or shame, you know, the GLP-1 community is like the cavalry. We are headed to that post, and we're like, oh, no,
Be
you
right
don't.
at dawn, lunchtime, midnight, it don't matter.
Okay.
That's it.
Get your
I love it. So I am thankful that, you know, Oprah had an epiphany, and at least she's saying, and I can understand. At first, I didn't understand why she wouldn't say which medication she was using, but I think if she did, it would. I mean, could you imagine if she did say she was on Mounjaro?
Be on the one that Oprah is on.
Yes, and it's already a shortage. Could you imagine? And then people will be like, well, I want to be on the one Oprah's on.
100%. Me too.
Get the other one.
People can go into their doctor with Oprah's favorite things list. Be like, I want this.
I want
Right.
this. She'll come out with a Stanley. One of these Stanleys. She'll come out with a Stanley, right? My favorite one.
I feel like let her stay on Ozempic because I don't want any more Mounjaro shortages.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead and say you want Ozempic. That's right.
No more shortages.
That's right.
You don't want
Oprah,
any
if you're listening, we already told you what you want, okay? You know.
We can kind of tell, but I mean, you know, at least Oprah's talking about it, and I don't know if she is, I don't know if she isn't, but y'all know I love Kelly Clarkson. She can sing Coffee to me, but she's not saying one word.
I think that's okay though.
Like I think it's okay, but
it's about health.
I think
It's
that
always
people,
been about health, you know.
But I think that people are kind of like sometimes dragging Oprah because she's not saying enough. But at least she's saying something.
Yeah. To your point, there's plenty of other celebrities that we all know are on it, and they're not speaking up either. At least Oprah saying up and saying, "Okay, yeah, I am on a medication. Like, I'm not saying which, but I am. I'm using it." Right? Yeah, you're right.
But the fact that some are staying silent too also is like, this is something that I have to be ashamed of, and I have to keep. You know, that's the message that it sends to me. And yes, like I do also understand the other part of the argument, which is this is your, you know, this is your health, this is your medical history. You don't owe that to anyone, but still, it's like what it still it contributes to the shame of it, just to be like, I can't tell people about that because it's somehow wrong.
I'm very on the fence about it. I'm very on the fence about it. I think that you know, I understand what you're saying, Nick. I completely understand that, but I think that I think it's important that people share what they're comfortable with sharing, right? Like just because you're a celebrity doesn't entitle, like we're not entitled to the, like who's on blood pressure medication or who's on this or who's on that, right? Like this is, I think that they should share what they're comfortable with at the end of the day.
Well, and like to that point, like their whole families, all their families may know that they're on it. They just don't come out in public, right? And like the best analogy is like we have plenty of people in the community. Like we're all out here, we're all sharing all of our stuff, right? But there's plenty of people in the community that don't make content. They don't feel comfortable like putting all their stuff out all the time. So, I mean, to Sabrina's point, that's I don't know. That's kind of the same.
Most of our community, guys. I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people that are in the communities. Many people who have no idea what this show is or who I am or anything like that. They don't know anything about this. Like I have randomly met people and they're like, they've been on this medicine 2 years. I'm like, what, you have a show?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, kind of, it's a thing, you know, like, and it's amazing how many people are out there. But my point is those people aren't all creating. Right. Most aren't creating. We're creators, but many people aren't sharing their story for lots of different reasons, you know?
Well, with the celebrity factor, like they're going to deal with a lot more than we're dealing with just from sharing on TikTok, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You've got the press coming at them and like, you know, like think about, oh my God, think about if somebody as famous as like Taylor Swift came out and said that they were on a GLP, right? Like obviously Taylor Swift doesn't need it. Okay, don't get me wrong, don't misunderstand me, but like somebody that famous came out, they're gonna have the paparazzi crowding them on the sidewalk, going, "Which one are you taking? We want to know. Is it Mounjaro or Wegovy?" You know, it's just something.
Yeah,
else.
tell everybody so they can go get it. Yeah,
it's just something else that people harass them about. So I mean, like, I don't know, they're like entitled to that decision. That they don't.
Well, like, what's one of the biggest questions you guys get in your lives, right? Which one's better, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody really respects you and you are of influence in any way, and we know many people feel that way about Oprah, right? If you say like you're on Mounjaro, then that's what they're going to do. They're going to go, oh, that's the decision then, right? Because someone that they respect or think highly of, right, and in some sort of way says it, you know? So I think it's good. Well, is everybody okay to
It's one thing that I wanted to mention when you guys talked about Kelly Clarkson, and this is why I love her so much. When she put on her baby weight, she was very defiant about it. She refused to talk about it. She told the press to F off, mind your freaking business. And so it didn't surprise me that she's not going to come out and say that she's on a GLP-1 because she's amazing.
I mean, let's all agree though, it would be great if like she had Oprah on her show and they talked about it. Because like she's very like down to earth on her show. Like that would be amazing.
I want him as a massive.
Yeah, she said like I had a baby, we gained weight, F you. And that was it.
Yep. Yeah. And that should be enough.
Yeah. This whole idea that you should bounce back right after having a baby. Like I've never had a baby before, but it's such a weird expectation because like I've known people who have had children and literally are being handed pamphlets of like, if you walk with your baby more often, it'll help shed those baby weight pounds a little bit faster. And I'm like,
go running, dude.
What?
I'll be the first.
That's the real thing.
Somebody tried that with a friend of mine after she had a C-section, and she was like, "Look, I left the hospital, and my doctor said I can't even grab a gallon of milk. I can't even pick up my baby, and you want me to do what? Like that? That doesn't happen. That can't happen. That would be detrimental to my health. Like, I don't know. People." The moral failing thing has to like go out the window. It's not.
We've got to flush it down the
moral
failing. Speaking of, let's go to the next clip.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. I remember back in the late 80s, early 90s of the Oprah show, when we were talking about with experts the idea of alcoholism being a disease. We had people saying mean things like, just put the bottle down. There's no such thing as alcoholism being a disease. Now, of course, we know differently. Alcoholism is a disease for many people. It is not a disease for everybody who drinks too much. And so I see this as the same, that many people have the disease of obesity. Everybody who is overweight does not have the disease of obesity. But if you have the disease of obesity, you're always going to go back to that set point. If you don't have it, then you can diet, lose weight, exercise, all of the things that we've heard over the years. Am I on the right track here?
Absolutely.
Are you all following this? Because if you all are tracking, it means the rest of the world will track.
But there's a spectrum of obesity as well. It's not one disease. It's many different subtypes of a disease.
So it's complex.
Quite complex.
And that's why it is so wrong to be shaming people because you don't understand the complexity of each person's situation.
Yeah, and I think as Amy said, this is just a reflection of someone's uneducated belief that this is just a self-inflicted condition, as if people who have obesity actually want to have obesity. It's looked at, these are weaker people who have no willpower, who can't cut it.
That's right.
And people who are thin can cut it.
So let's talk
about.
Wow.
I want to say that I have met the strongest human beings I have ever known in my entire life in this community. Mm-hmm. Everybody in this community is a very, very strong individual. And there is nobody that's in this community that hasn't tried all the things already, right? Yeah. I'm sure that every single person on this panel has white knuckled it at some point, has tried to kill it at the gym, for lack of a better word, has tried to starve themselves into being thinner than they were. We've all tried those things, right? We've all been lived through it, right? We had to be pretty damn strong to live through that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll shut up.
For sure. You can.
Agreed.
For me, I was trying to compare the analogy when people would say just stop eating, whatever, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but here's the problem with food addiction. You're around it constantly. You don't need alcohol to survive. You don't need opioids to live your everyday life. You need to eat, though. Like when I was telling my mom, before I left her tonight, I said, make sure you eat the rest of those tacos. And she's like, I'm working on it. I'm like, you need to eat. And I get that what we put in our bodies is important as how much we put in our bodies. But this idea that you could just put the fork down, like, again, we're not looking at it as a disease. We weren't before. Now we are, thankfully, and more people really need to get that through their thick skull. They were willing to accept alcoholism, opioid addiction, gaming addiction, sex addiction,
shopping addiction.
All kinds of things that are now considered, addictions in the DSM-4. But food addiction still is kind of looked like, it's just, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Real thing. Like,
shut up already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing about food addiction, and I'm not an addiction specialist, I'm not a doctor at all, but I feel like when we're talking about addiction, as I understand it, it's mostly just the dopamine circuit in the brain. It's the pleasure. And this affects hormones and GLP-1 and leptin and ghrelin. And it's a whole, like, maybe there is this other, component to addiction that I'm not understanding, but it feels I feel like, food addiction in the past has been a way to stigmatize people in like, well, you just have food addiction. But I think there's more going on in the body than just addiction. And again, not speaking from a scientific perspective, but it just feels like with what we know now, it's not just a pleasure thing in the brain. And that was what's so interesting about that CNN study that came out last year, where they fed the nutrients into their stomachs through feeding tubes. They didn't have the pleasure from the food. Does everyone know about that study?
No, tell us about it.
No.
So it was actually, this is kind of brilliant. So what they did is they put, quote unquote, normal weight people in MRI scanners, and they put obese people in. And while they're in, they fed nutrients through a feeding tube down into their stomachs. So they did carbohydrates, probably good sugar, and proteins. And they noticed that the people who were thinner had activation in certain brain areas, but the people who were obese did not, which they, kind of hypothesized meant that the signals just aren't reaching the brain. And I guess the point that I was trying to make was they bypassed the whole pleasure thing by feeding it through the feeding tube. It's not like, oh, here, eat this. It's going to taste good. They bypassed that by going directly into the stomach. So it's not just a pleasure thing.
Wow. Well, Nick, I'm going to say, in my experience with Ozempic, and now especially Mounjaro, particularly with Mounjaro, when I first went on it, after a couple of weeks, I noticed that I wasn't obsessing anymore. I noticed that I wasn't going, I need to have the chips now. I'm hungry a little bit, but I need to eat something right now. Like I wasn't fiending like a freak, I was calm. And then I realized when I saw something on TikTok, they talked about food noise, and I was like, oh my God.
That's what that was.
This is what I've been dealing with my entire life.
Yeah.
And the medication, it quieted it. And there were certain foods that I used to love that were hitting the dopamine receptors in my brain, and then stopped when I started taking Mounjaro. And while it sucks that there's some things I can't really eat and enjoy anymore, it feels good knowing that I'm not a prisoner to the plate anymore.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
to the plate.
Real quick, I love that alliteration. A prisoner to the plate.
I know.
Yeah.
On the plate.
Liberty.
I just came up with that. Like I literally just
You're an evangelist.
Well,
That
was it.
Look, hey.
well, and to capitalize on Nick's point too, like for instance, like I have PCOS, so like my brain was constantly like, "You're hungry, lady. Keep eating. Just keep filling it in." Right? I didn't have that switch that was like, "Okay, you're full stop." Right? My brain. So from the outside perspective, that probably did look like an addiction for the food, right? But really, it was just my brain telling me, "No, you're still hungry. Keep going." My brain and hormones were kind of betraying me. I wasn't addicted to anything. I just, my body was like fighting against me, basically.
Yeah.
So
I would just get hangry.
Hangry?
Yeah.
I think everybody gets hangry. I don't care what body you're in.
I still get hangry on Mounjaro. I still get hangry.
I know you do. You all do. I work with all of you. I know you do.
There are 2 times I'm mean. If I'm tired or hungry, and if I'm both, just get out of my way.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, I know that I've mentioned this before, the last couple of weeks, it's definitely starting to happen more. Everybody knows I went to Overeaters Anonymous because compulsive overeating. And we used the 12 steps, just like in alcohol, and not Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. And I still, for me, I hit a wall, but I still sometimes, I remember using food to numb out. I don't know if anybody else in this panel had done that, but completely shut off and eat the feels. I didn't realize how much emotion I was eating until I started taking the drugs. But sometimes she tries to kick back in. Sometimes like, oh, you're feeling kind of upset. Let's what's in the house? And I'm like,
I mean, I feel like
and the drug does the little, hey, we're not, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only talking with Takashi, and I've had this discussion a lot. But yeah, I think that like that I have the same sort of thing, but I have like obsessive anxiety. And it turned off like a switch for me with these medicines. And then, but I still have times where I go through stress and my environment changes and I feel it kick back up. But here's the difference. My brain goes, what just happened there? Like it switches and we're like, what are we going to do about this? Is there anything that we can actually do about this? Where we really can't. It's like you used to say, you get snacky and then you go start eating before bed and you go, bitch, go to bed. You
I love the way you
right? It's the same thing. It's about being able to gear shift and being in control. Right? And that's always been the thing for me is I am fine with my choices, but they have to be mine. And I never felt like they were mine. It always felt like I couldn't control it. And as long as this, like I'm telling you, I ate some cheesecake today. It was a gluten-free cheesecake. It was full of protein. I know it's crazy. I made a video. I'll tell you all about it.
It was hilarious.
I'm gonna try to get them a sponsor because they're awesome. They're gluten-free, they're high in protein, low in sugar. And I ate half of it and it was a little bitty thing, you know what I mean? But if I wanted to eat the whole thing, I'd have been okay with it because it was my choice. I didn't want to, right? And y'all, it's shot day. I could have put it away. You know what I mean? But I didn't, because you know how it's on shot day. You're ready to go. Let's do it.
Go.
It's like, I think that it's about making your own choices. Like, and that's how it's always been for me. I do remember the first time, like I've heard people say food noise for a while now, but when I was first starting, so July 2022, I heard one girl I don't even see anymore. She goes, I'm on this medicine. And I think what I like most about it is the quiet. And I went, and it wasn't even like food noise. It wasn't, no one had coined it. Like it was nothing like that. You know what I mean? But it was just like, that's what it is. It's so
what it is.
Quiet. And then, and that was when I was early on. It wasn't until I got to 3 milligrams, because I was on Saxenda, 3 milligrams, that it turned off like a switch. And I thought I had a stroke. So if all of those things change by literally regulating hormones, then how could it have been our fault? How?
Right.
How?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Like, literally, you're taking a synthetic type, I'm oversimplifying, hormone, right? It's making your body regulate. And all of a sudden, all of the things you wanted to do and be, you can. It sticks. All those things stick. Because people say, you have to stick with it. Right. Even that one thing on Dr. Stitch that was like, you're looking great, Oprah, got to stick with it. Right. You're not like, bite me, like it's possible to stick with. That's what makes it never was possible before. It was just miserable. Anybody else?
I just think it's so interesting though. Oh, sorry, cut someone off, but I'm noticing like, I didn't know that other people use the term white knuckling for a while. That was a term that I just used in my head. And then I heard other people using it. And it's like, and you talk about food noise, it gets quiet. Like these experiences are so universal. And look at like how we're all talking about how we feel when we're restricted. We're all gritting we're literally white knuckling. It's so interesting how universal amongst people on these medications, they have these feelings that, yeah, like just everyone has, different words for it, but they're so similar. It's crazy.
Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I first heard it from JT, and I didn't know what she was talking about at first. I was like,
Did you
what
spell
does
it for
she
me? That's how there's
mean? Yeah.
I said mine.
What?
Stole it from me.
It wasn't.
I stole it from somebody else.
I can't remember where I heard it from. I mean, I heard it years ago because I knew it was attributed to whatever, like if you're going through something, you're like trying to, like, I know, now I know where addiction. When people were talking about, I'm white knuckling my way through quitting smoking, I'm white knuckling my way through quitting booze. And I'm like, you may want to talk to somebody about that. It's going to get a little difficult, But what I was going to say earlier, Nick, I think that as the years go on and as science progresses, they're going to start treating obesity the same way they do with overactive and underactive thyroids, the way they do with
100%.
Postpartum psychosis. It's your hormones. They're going to look at it from that perspective and say, maybe if we tweak the hormones a little bit more in the brain, not just with GLP-1 medications, but in other ways, like maybe we could help people not feel so trapped by their over reliance of food.
Yeah.
And also maybe help them lose weight.
We had this doctor on the show at the beginning of this season, Dr. Mick Crotty, and he specifically said something that went viral and we saw it everywhere. And he is a doctor from Ireland. He's he's an obesity doctor. They don't have specialists in Ireland. And he said, literally telling someone with obesity to like put the food down or stop eating or all those things is like telling someone with depression to cheer up, right? Which we now know is absurd. But 20 years ago, that's what people said.
Yeah.
So I still hear the cheer up with my depression.
Yeah. Snap out of it, right? It's the same thing people just can't conceive, right?
It's crazy because depression usually comes with obesity, right? Like hand in hand. So just be happy and eat less.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He also used the term. He also used the analogy of like telling an obese person to eat less is like telling an anorexic to fill up. Like it's telling an anorexic to eat more.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on what Kat was saying earlier with the whole, because I was an alcoholic many years ago, and then with that, it is kind of related because when I stopped drinking, when I became sober, all of that transferred over to food, right? Like that addiction from alcohol transferred over to food. So it was like, I know what you're saying, what you were talking about, Kat, because it really hit home for me, like in regards to having to deal with and that the dopamine, just that it was literally a transfer of addiction. It was wild. So I'm so thankful for this medication. And then the whole, just stop drinking, or just stop, push away from the table. I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd, but it took so long, so many years. I mean, think about it. 20, 30 years ago, nobody thought alcohol was a disease, right? Like what you were just saying. I'm like, nobody knew or thought that it was a disease. So I'm very happy that we're finally shifting that.
Do we know what year? Does anybody know? Can anybody Googles and find out what year did someone come out and say alcoholism is a disease? Because I feel like I was hearing it in college. Alcoholism was quite a bit in my family.
Alcoholics Anonymous was like out in the 30s. Like that's
but they didn't call it a disease.
Like medical professionals started talking about it being a disease in the early 90s. It was the
early 90s. So when
they were treating it with is it bupropion? It's Contrave.
Bupropion.
They're treating them with.
I am terrible.
That's Wellbutrin. That's Wellbutrin. Bupropion.
But bupropion, they treat alcoholism with bupropion. So
Sabrina, what you were saying, sorry. My husband's a mental health clinician, so he says he sees transfer addiction a lot, particularly with people who have had weight loss surgery, because you can't get the dopamine rush of eating as much as you want. So then they find something else to turn to, and a lot of them turn to alcohol, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's sort of like when children are growing up and they're out of control, right? And for whatever reason, they feel out of control for something. The only thing that's close by for them is food. It's one thing they control because they're children. So many children like myself, right? Like not knowing how to handle big emotions. Well, I can eat them, right? Now I didn't know that's what I was doing, that I wanted to feel better, and it was the only thing I could have access to. So I think that's like you kind of reach for what you can get, you know?
And I was going to say, I thought I had read something sometime last year that said bariatric patients, in terms of insurance and GLP-1s, many times it's not easier, but it's maybe a smoother pathway to insurance approval if you've had bariatric surgery and now you're to be on a GLP-1, if you're prescribed a GLP-1, that maybe there is a smoother pathway to insurance approval and coverage if you're a bariatric surgery patient because of the mental aspect.
I've heard some people, maybe that's new. I've heard some people say that because they regained from bariatric surgery, they were rejected from insurance.
Yeah, I thought you were saying you thought that bariatric surgery itself was an easier path, which I think in terms of insurance, it is.
They're like, okay, you go through like 6 months of counseling and then, all right, yeah, we'll do it. We'll give it a try. So
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a massive pain in the butt, like the steps that you have to go through. Like, but at the same time, like when I had mine, like they didn't have GLP. So this is in 2007, so they didn't have. This wasn't like a common thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, what was Vieta was in 2005. So, but that was still for diabetics. They weren't talking about treating easier for obesity. So for sure, like you had to go through the steps, and you don't have to take 6 months right now, which is why I think they added that whole diet plan in, right? To a lot of these insurance companies as like criteria to get approval. It's a way to like stall, which is exactly what they're doing to prepare for the surgery. Even that you'll change your jobs or change whatever. Like it's just a stall technique. I really talked to a surgeon today about starting patients on GLP-1 to get better results. Yeah, I've had plenty of surgeons like on the show that have said that that's the best practice, that's what they want to do.
Dr. Angelina says that a lot of her patients that do bariatric surgery, like with her husband and with the other doctors in her practice, almost immediately, not even a month out, she wants them on at least a low dose of a GLP-1 to help with the brain.
Yeah, because it's different. Yeah.
Absolutely.
To get your definition, Kim, the American Medical Association classified alcoholism as a disease in 1956.
Wow.
Right? Really? And in 87 classified as addiction as a disease as well. So
in the 80s?
In the 80s, it really was.
Wow. I swear people only came around to this in the past 10 years.
Well, people are like,
it takes time.
Wow.
Think about like obesity considered as a disease, 20 years ago, and people are just now coming around.
Right.
That is.
I don't know if I would say people are coming around. I think
we're
trying to get them to. I think that's what this is
we're getting
We're
there.
dragging
around the corner.
Around the corner.
We're the tortoise. We're not the hare. We're getting there. Okay.
Okay, let's see the next clip.
It's the tortoise.
Yes.
Okay. We need 2 shirts. We're the tortoise crew.
Dr. Bush, this disparity in the access, how do we fix this?
Yeah, complex solutions need to be discussed because we're seeing an inequity at the basic and simplistic most way, is that people who actually need medications that are highly effective don't have a chance of getting them.
And is that going to change in the future, do you think?
Well, of course, people will point at the competitive, new drugs will come out that will knock the prices down. But, what we're really dealing with is people taking a lot of money out of their own pockets and paying for something that actually is needed and should be offered to them.
Because, I think a lot of people are believing that this offers an opportunity for a radical shift in the potential for healthcare for so many things. It's not just a weight loss drug.
Right. And think about it, the trickle down effect. You fix somebody's weight, the costs of that healthcare, the dollars go down. That person might be going to work more often. We don't think of the downstream effects of the benefits. We're so fixated on the cost, the upfront costs. You see insurance companies not cover it, states not cover it, Medicare, Medicaid not cover it.
Why would they want to cover it? Because obesity, if everybody else got the memo, right, that obesity is a disease. We know how many ramifications, health problems you have if you have severe obesity. Why wouldn't your insurance company want to cover that?
Think about this. If you don't believe that obesity is a disease and you're running a policy plan, what are you going to convince your members who are making those decisions? You're going to say, why should we bother giving a drug to somebody who should just eat less? Right?
Yeah. So we're still in the moment where we're trying to convince. We're like where we were with alcoholism, where we were with drunk driving, where we were with smoking, trying to get people to understand.
You have to educate people.
Yeah. Where we were with drunk driving, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I so remember that. I so remember when it was the national campaign against drunk driving.
I remember
and
that.
it took, and at first the government didn't want to even acknowledge it. They were like, yeah. And it was a grassroots effort, and it just, started to swell. And maybe that's what needs to happen here. And maybe TikTok is ground zero. And and TikTok is the small pebble when you throw it into the lake, the ripples across. I feel like we're truly living in historic times. Like it's like almost surreal somewhat, but I feel like this is a time in history, not just in health, but in history, where it will prayerfully end another form of discrimination. And that it's another, I don't want to say battle, I don't want to say another fight, but where you're striving for equality, where you're striving for fairness, where you're striving for justice.
Yes.
And that's where I feel like we are, because now since we're on these meds, I am treated differently now than I was just 2 years ago.
Right.
When I tell people like how much weight I've lost so far, because like I have people coming up to me all the time with their like little MLM stuff of like, I have a training program, I do Herbalife or whatever. I'm like, I'm at work.
Yeah.
I work at the library. So patrons would come up to me and try to offer me like their little pamphlets and stuff. I'm like, first of all, you're not supposed to be soliciting in the library. Second of all, I'm at work. But when I say that's nice, thank you, I don't need it though. I'm on a weight loss journey, and they'll look at me like, really? Because I'm still obviously still big. And I'm like, yeah, I've lost over 80 pounds so far. Oh. Then
way to go.
I hadn't heard that update.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But they'll then pivot and be like, oh, because then now they're not looking at me as a fat person on a weight loss journey necessarily. Like, oh, she says she is. But the fact that I've already lost this much, well, oh, you must be doing something right. Keep going. And I'm like, well, a minute ago you were looking at me like, Now it's like, oh,
you need help. Yep, that's true.
But honestly, like I feel like a lot of the pushback, not really a lot, but some of the pushback we've been getting lately are from people who look just like us. People who are in the plus size community who don't want things to change. Like I know some people they checked that chick a few months ago who basically went on TikTok and lied and said you can never eat if you're on
her. Oh, now I checked her.
That one.
Yeah, her. And she's like, because she's a body positivity plus size advocate and stuff. And so many of them are so upset that people are losing weight. I'm like, look, if you don't want to lose the weight, that's your business. Yeah. I don't care. That is your business if you don't want to lose the weight. But don't come crap on us, the ones who are trying to change our lives. And it was so funny because I think she took for granted just how big the GLP-1 community really is.
Okay.
Because people
they all do, baby. They all do till they start coming for them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, delete that video.
Delete. She did. She was gone. She was everywhere or stitched all over.
That's right. Yeah. And I never understand that too. And when you said about body positivity and people who are wanting I always just think about positivity. I'm always trying to be positive. And so I never understand people who want better for everybody but you. That's what I don't understand. Like, how can you want better for people when now you're basically shaming other people for what they're trying to do to better themselves?
Right.
How can that be positivity for everybody? Because everybody is different.
I mean, it's kind of, and the backlash and everything has gotten so vitriolic because a couple months ago there was she's on TikTok, but she's mostly on Instagram, named Rosie Beam, and she's been on a weight loss journey. She's been very upfront of why she's trying to lose weight, and it's because it was negatively affecting her health and her quality of life. Well, someone got up in their feelings about that and decided to call her an ableist piece of S, and they went off. They just went. I mean, it was like you would think she's killing puppies or something online.
Wow.
And they didn't stop. They when people called them out for it, like, don't you think you're going a little hard? They doubled, tripled, quadrupled down, and basically said that anyone who does this, they're a piece of blah blah blah. And I'm like, my gosh, it's not that serious. But that's how upset some people are seeing so many people change their lives with these medications because it's like they're crabs in the bucket. They don't want us to run. They don't want us to escape. So they're all grabbing onto our legs and pulling us back down again.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like sometimes it's like people doing it because they've tried to get on these meds and they can't get on them, and so it's like I don't want to like it's not. I don't necessarily think it's like a jealousy thing, but it's almost like them sort of spewing their anger toward people who are on them and sort of trying to do better. And I don't think that's all of them, but I have seen some where they were like, oh, I tried to get on. My doctor told me no. So I just have to go to the gym every day. You should try that too. Like,
I get it. I mean, I have been in a bigger body my entire life. I don't, there is no skinny kid. There's no kid this size as an adult. It's weird as shit. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just weird. I look at myself and I'm like, and I'm not like, this is skinny for me. A size 14 is not skinny in America, right? But
it's skinny and fine. You're skinny.
Like 26, 28.
You're skinny to us, okay?
Right. Well, and I never, but I guess my point is I never wanted to be skinny. I never did. I was never that girl because I agree with you. My mother, because she knew that I'm this way, right? And y'all know I got diet culture stuff going on from the beginning to Kim. You know what I'm saying? But anytime I would talk bad about myself, she'd be like, not today. You are not that. You are this. You are that. You are amazing. You are. She wouldn't allow it. Ultimate hype girl when it came to, and she would not let anybody else talk bad about me. So I never had a place in my life where I thought, I want to be skinny. I want to wear that size. I very much got to a place of acceptance with my body, right? And the size that it was, and that I was plus size and beautiful. And I was okay with that. But I look back now and I know that was because I was trying to survive, right? I was trying to survive in a world that wasn't made for me, right? The way that things are in the world that we exist in today, in society and all that, it wasn't made for someone of my size to be, in all the stores and going, I needed to shop online and hope it fit, right? And now all of those different things. And I didn't fit in all the roller coasters. And I couldn't go on the rides with my friends and all this different stuff. That was not my life. So if I had been put in a position where I all of a sudden had to check all of that, right, to decide if I even wanted to go on a med, especially if I had made a career out of it on TikTok or on Insta or whatever, being like, I'm okay with this. Like this is who I was before. But I'm telling you, I think a lot of times body positivity has to do with age. This stuff creeps up on you. You get to a certain age, it fucking hurts.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But it just hurts really bad all the time, everywhere, here, joints, all of it. And I don't want to be in pain anymore. And that's what it came down to. Now, I still struggle with, oh, dear God, what's going to happen when I'm not a 14? What's going to happen if I'm a 12? What's going to happen if, God forbid, I'm a 10? Like, it sounds bad, but I've always been this size. So it's not a happy place to think about for me. So I can empathize with people around body positivity because I think they just wanted to survive. But I will tell you, anytime I hear them talk, part of me thinks to myself, God, I just want you to take it. And I know that sounds so culty, but I know when they do and it turns off, everything will change because it did for me. Right. And I didn't even consider it because I didn't even know what was possible before I took the medicine. I just took it. Because I didn't question doctors. I do now, question them all day long, literally, right?
Mhm.
But I didn't back then. I just took it. And I'm kind of glad, to be honest, because I think I may have been closer to the way they were. The only reason that I came around is because my numbers weren't good, because I was hurting, you know? And you get to a certain age, and like that's what Dr. Toomer said, right? She was like, listen, health doesn't have a size, but it does have an expiration date. It does.
Yeah.
You know? And I think a lot of
and I was a lot like those people in my early 20s. I'm like, oh, because you know, I was fat, yeah, but I wasn't hurting. I wasn't, you know, my asthma was, you know, handled, it was okay. Then I turned 30, then I turned 40. And then my check knee light came on.
Yeah, girl.
And it's like
check knee light.
You know,
knee light.
It's like
check knee light.
It's just full of shorts. I don't have mega knees no more.
I love it. My check knee light.
But I was like, you know, that's why you don't see so many of these so-called activists in their 50s and 60s, because they're dead.
Yeah.
You know, they're all sick and dying off, you know, but when you're 19, 20 years old, that's not called your health. That's youth.
Yes.
You know, it hasn't caught up to you yet. It catches up to you. You start getting older because you've been in that bigger body for so long.
Yes.
And like for me, Kim, like you were saying how you had a positive role model.
Yeah.
I spent my whole childhood in my life being told that it was shameful to be fat.
Yes.
I'd catch hell from the kids at school.
Yeah.
And then I'd come home and my mom would be like, we're going to Tops, which was take off pounds sensibly. It was like,
I remember I did Tops in high school.
You did Tops too?
Yes.
10 years
It did
old.
not work.
The Tops. Oh, it did.
I have tried everything.
I have never heard of that one.
Are you giving me PTSD?
Old school. Tops is old school. So my mom would
Very
go on
old.
the Tops. You know, my mom would say that if you lose weight, the kids will leave you alone. That was her whole thing. So it was diet culture all around me.
Yeah.
Kids picking on me so much. I mean, God forbid if I so much as even eat a morsel of something. You know, kids were like, "You sure should be eating that, Kim?" Like in their mind, they thought I should never ever eat.
Yes.
And it definitely fueled my ED.
Of course it did. Yeah.
Of course it did.
You can say, so just so you know, on YouTube, they actually promote content that talks about like treating and curing and processing eating disorders. So like they actually promote it. So you can say that here.
Okay, so I don't have to like, because on TikTok you have to.
Yeah, here you can talk about it.
Now I remember that I was in high school and my grandma was at our house and I was eating a piece of bread and my grandma, I'll never forget, she said, "Don't forget your Tops." Heifer, I'm having a sandwich. Heifer. Let me tell you, nope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna refrain. That goes way back into nope.
Yeah.
My mom would be like, you know, I love her. She would be like, you know, we shouldn't get bread with our sandwiches. We should just do the lettuce wrap thing. Before that was like even before it got to be a thing. Yes. You know, she loved Quiznos when they came out with these like sub bowls, sort of like they'd have like a piece of pita in them, but they were essentially a sub in the version of a salad. Mm-hmm. And we would get those, and then we would say, okay, only 2 pieces of pita bread in it and stuff like that. I mean, it starts young. I mean, God forbid if your child is a little chubby, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. And like my mom was always in, I would say, a smaller to average body. So for sure, I don't think I just think she's a really good white knucklehead, to be honest. Like I think now she struggles with insulin resistance, so that she's older. But she was bathed in diet culture. This whole country is, you know? And so I have a lot of grace for my parents because I do think they really just wanted, and they would always say to me, "Honey, we just want you to be healthy." Right. Mm-hmm. And I was healthy, but they knew that this is what happens because they were adults and they were starting to deal with weight as they became older, you know? And so, but I think that there are other people where, I mean, like Kat will tell you, like, which talks on the show very openly about, like, it's kind of just like the total opposite with her, you know, in her family. There was a lot of othering and a lot of like, Kat can't have dessert and stuff like that, you know? So I don't know. So I feel like, sorry, we're going off on other things. We should pull up another clip.
I got one thing I want to say.
Oh, one more thing, Nick. Yeah.
So I'm casting myself as the Elizabeth Hasselbeck of this panel, but
okay.
But, so throughout my life, there has been a lot. So also like we were talking about, I want this thing for me, but I don't want it for other people. I think Tiffany, you might have been the one that said that. That's something that I notice a lot in the gay community is that, we fought for certain rights, but the weight stigma in the gay community is really vicious. And I did want to be skinny when I was in college. Like I wanted to be a twink. And because I wasn't, and it's all kind of the same period. It's so weird. It all ties together. It was never, I don't like you because you're fat. It was always, I'm just concerned about your health.
Yeah.
When it's like, I'm meeting you on gay.com. Why do you care about my health? Like, this is not about health.
Yeah.
This is about you shaming me for how I look.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of cognitive dissonance about, I try not to shame anyone that makes choices other than mine. And it's something that I'm kind of experimenting with and doing, but I even have a problem with putting up before and after pictures of myself because I don't want to be like, that was the bad me. And this is the good me now. And everyone should be like the good me because it's the bad me. Like I try so hard to just, and too, like, I think I have more grace for some of the people that are feeling threatened by these medications because they've found body acceptance. Like, I don't want to take away their comfort either. I don't want to take that away, but then this is my life and this is what comforts me. So it's a very, very messy, very, very messy
I get that
combination of feelings.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take away what makes someone else happy. But at the same
I
time,
don't want them to take it away from you either.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sabrina. I can tell Sabrina when she wants to stand up for people that she loves. She gets
in the camera
and she's like, I don't want to eat them, but I ain't letting them talk bad about themselves, and I could see it coming.
And listen, when you're in person and you tell her you're her friend and you tell her somebody's wrong with you, she'll be like, who was it? What they do? You know where they live? Because we're going there right now.
Write it down.
Yeah. Okay. You're right, Kim. Write it down.
Write it down. Anytime.
Or was it you, Tiffany? Tiffany or Kim said it? Write it down.
I said it.
Yeah.
All right.
So, were you going to say something, Sabrina? I saw you doing this.
No, you guys got it.
She was like, you said it. That's it. We're there. It was good. Once somebody says it, she's fine.
I had a similar experience in college where I was at a party and this guy it was me and another girl, and he looked at me and he looked at her. He goes, if you put your face on her body, you'd be a 10. He said it to me. And I'm like, first of all, that's insulting to me, but you're also insulting her because he was basically telling her that she was ugly, but she had a nice body.
Right.
And she was like, excuse me? He's like, if you had her face,
he said
you would be a 10.
Insert eggplant insult right there. Just eggplant insult right there. That's what I would have used.
I threw a drink on him
with your eggplant.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Keep her dolls. We're human.
To be fair, I didn't really like the drink anyway, so it was a little bit, but also because I'm like, you know what, fuck you. And I just started drinking his face and walked away. Like, first of all, dude, I wasn't even checking for you anyways.
Right. Okay.
Like, he just walked up to us unprovoked. We weren't looking at him, nothing like that. And he just comes stumbling up. You put your face on her body, you would be a 10.
You are horrible. They really are.
Brain transplant, you would also be a 10. Okay, goodbye.
To be fair,
yeah. All right. I'll go ahead and pull up the next clip because we'll talk.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
We hear about people losing muscle mass. Is that true?
For sure. We think about the number, the scale, the change in the scale.
Is that true, and is it dangerous?
Yes, it's true. When you lose weight, you might lose muscle mass as well as fat mass. I think that's where it becomes important to really counsel patients on the benefits of doing resistance training and making sure you're eating enough protein, because in the end, that sort of dual problem can be the fact that you lose too much.
I had a friend who was on.
That was disappointing to me. Let me tell you why. Because we interview experts about these medicines, that this medicine is not eating your muscle. We know that it is important for you to do strength training. We know the protein is important. But what he should have said is, no matter what weight loss journey you're on, this is a risk and this is why you do these two things. And for sure, taking these medications, you need to do that as well. But he didn't. Or
well,
out or whatever.
Take the win about what he did say, though. He also said that that's why it's important to have counseling from your doctor about what you should be doing while you're taking these medications. And what do we say all the time? That's why it's important to have the care of a doctor while you're on these medications. So I see your point, but take the win that he did at least say that.
Yeah. I thought he did, though. I thought he said, when you lose weight, you're going to lose muscle. He didn't say when you lose weight with a medication, you're going to lose muscle.
I kind of took it that way.
I wish we hear just more specific. And I think it's just because of what I hear on the lives every single day, right? Which is this going to eat my muscle? No, friend, it's not, right? It's the weight loss. And if you don't do these things, then that can happen.
Did you see that? Can you see it over
the gun?
Nobody gives a shit, guys. When someone's losing weight on a diet, nobody goes, "Are you strength training?"
Until these meds came around, and then
what you're saying is you don't have any muscle. I'm like, well, I don't know.
I didn't know this was here. I had no idea.
Well, see, it's a gun show, Nick.
When I first went on Mounjaro, that was one of the many scare tactics I heard. You're not going to be losing fat. You're going to be losing muscle, Ken. It's going to affect your heart. And I'm like, it was article after article after article. Because even my husband came to me. He was very concerned. He's like, it says that it's actually false weight loss because you're not losing actual fat. You're losing muscle. And I'm like, well, that's what. Well, again, that's where a year ago when I first started Mounjaro, that's where the articles were. That's all that was out there was that Ozempic face, Mounjaro face, and losing muscle instead of fat. And like, I was like, well, babe, that's the case with anyone who loses weight if you're not doing it the right way. It's like if you're working out but you're doing only cardio, not strength training, you're going to lose muscle mass if you're starving yourself and you're not doing protein. I mean, even the bodybuilders out there say that.
Exactly. That's how you look skinny fat. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, I enjoy working out, but I feel like, and I can't remember who said it the other day, and I was telling someone about it, was that, and I think it was actually Shannon. She said, you have to find a joy in working out. If you don't, it's really like anything. You're going to continue going back to something that you enjoy. Okay. That's where the joy comes from. And so I'm a avid believer in that. But what I was going to say in the beginning though, was every time he starts talking, like I borderline roll my eyes. So, and that could just be me. I'm like, whatever you're saying now, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm really listening, but like you said, he did say that, it's, he didn't necessarily say for the medicine, but it was, I feel like it was, I assume that's what you were talking about because that's what we're talking about here. So I really sometimes, like going back to what Kim said earlier about Dr. Jen, it's like sometimes I feel like now I believe some things he says and then some things I don't.
Yeah. I really wish he had expanded upon with that yes, because like Kim said, no one heard anything beyond that yes. The people who are the naysayers who are say, well, this is going to cause muscle wasting away. They didn't hear nothing past that yes. He should have said yes, however, and then said, if you're losing weight and you're on a weight loss journey and you're not eating protein, you're not doing fiber, you're not doing this, that, and the other strength training, yes, you're going to lose muscle. But unfortunately, he didn't qualify that yes with anything further. And that's a little problematic. I know he didn't mean to do that probably because Oprah was kind of firing those questions at him. I was like, girl, you're a little aggressive.
Girl, I'm getting my knees over asking me questions. Good gravy.
Earlier when he was saying, we have to educate, and that was like the end of our clip. Right after that, she goes, "What do you think we're doing here?" Like she leaned in, and she goes, "What do you think we're doing here? That's what we're doing. That's what we're here for." So yeah,
one time she said, like he said something in the I think it was in the clip before this, and she goes, like that's not what we've been saying. Like you're saying stuff, but I'm like, I already told you that. Like we already said that, but you're still not saying what I want you to say. And I feel like I never really got exactly what I wanted from him. So I just
there were some disappointing moments, and I don't think we clipped it, but the compound moment. That was disappointing.
That was the one. That's why I still roll my eyes
in that audience. There was that is struggling from the disparity and from the lack of equity with these medications. And I'm sorry, like as a as a white man in this country, especially as a doctor, you were sitting in a place of privilege.
Amen.
You've got to consider how many people are sick that need medicine, and there is stuff available for them. And it's one thing for you to say, hey, I'm not cool with a lot of this stuff because it's safe, but I think that obesity specialists have a responsibility to tell us what is.
I think
they have a responsibility. And so that was disappointing to me.
I feel like he had a responsibility to shut his mouth and not say that about Compound, because not only does he come from a place of privilege, he also is a paid contributor for both Novo and Eli Lilly. So
yes, and they mentioned that.
Hello,
right? Automatically vilifies it.
Right,
I'm so happy that Oprah allowed that statement. I'm so happy that Oprah allowed that statement because she didn't have to, and I'm sure that staying in good with them and being advertisers and stuff on her show is going to be positive, especially if she does more shows going forward. But the fact that she allowed that woman to say that and there were a couple people that were in the audience that take Compound, and that she allowed them to say it. And I was really glad of that, because it's a lot of people, there's a shortage. Like, it's awful.
Yes. If you want to be so down on Compound, actually make enough,
fix
the medicine.
it.
But even beyond that, be honest. Like, they kept saying, oh, this is just unprecedented. The demand is unprecedented. Okay, that was the first time.
You know how many people in America, that's just stupid. I'm sorry. You know how many people are in America. You know how many insurance companies cover this medication. You know that when you're in shortage that they can compound. You know these numbers. None of this is a surprise. You know 40% of America have obesity. You know there's 25% that actually cover them on the insurance companies. Figure it out. Do the maths. You're brilliant.
There's teams that are dedicated to this very thing.
Legitimately.
Teams. Like,
and I mean, I get that it's not.
Release the vials. No, I'm kidding.
And that brings up the point. Eli. You're so worried about people splitting doses, but you'll get someone on compounds and never have their business again.
Yeah.
Because they found out they can get it cheaper. You're shooting yourself in the foot, guys. I own stock, so you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Another thing is too,
like, need you on the earnings call, Dave.
Right? Why don't they study the abrupt stopping of treatment because their insurance sucks, or the shortage, or they run out of money?
Dave brought that up. We need a study about people who are bouncing between doses because they can't get their dose. We need a study on how that's affecting their treatment, from them having to jump from 12.5 to 5 to 7.5 to 15. Because they can't do it.
I can do a video on it, because that's what I'm gonna have to do in like the next 2 weeks. Outside of my compound, waiting for that to come. So I'll do it, because I had to go from big man 10 to little man 7.5. So
I think, and the thing was, when you said about the earnings call, Eli Lilly clearly said, and I believe whoever was on the call heard them say, there will be shortages throughout 2024, well into 2025. They said this. It doesn't make it right, but this is where I'm going with this. They said this. I knew then. I said, oh, wait a minute. Pretty much they were telling you in a veiled way, you may not be able to get your stuff. Or when you do, then they, talk about people say, oh, well, if you get a 3-month supply, you're hoarding. No, you get it in because of times like this. But the release the vials, do I think they should? But here is my take on it. And I said this the other day, and this may be unpopular. Eli Lilly can't even produce an injection pen that they've been using for over 10 years. Trulicity has the same pen. Mounjaro and Zepbound have the same pen. They can't even produce that right now. So to ask them to produce vials when they don't even have the manufacturing capacity to even produce what they already have, which that should be seamless.
Well, I guess I have two.
They do make insulin, and insulin come in vials.
Exactly.
But that's coming in shortage also. I just read that Humira and another cancer causing a cancer treating drug, and I was going to make a video on it. Eli Lilly has basically made a statement saying that's going to be in shortage, and that just came out today.
And I guess
vials, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
someone just made the point that vials are in shortage in Canada. Like, so, I mean, the common understanding is that it is the pens, but is it? Like, do we have like definitive information that that's it, or are we just speculating?
We've never actually said.
I thought it was just
I think that we're just speculating because Nick, I think you bring up a good point, and that's why, you know, everyone is like, release the vials, release the vials. I'm like, that sounds good. That sounds good in theory. But when you really did drill down into it,
they don't have those either.
They don't have the manufacturing capacity, period.
Wow.
Because remember, they were supposed to build the manufacturing plant 1 hour north of Indianapolis. That still hasn't been built. And I, along with Dave and along with many others, I believe that Eli Lilly is exhibiting corporate irresponsibility. Yeah. You are launching new markets, and you can't even serve the markets that you have now with injection pens that you've been using for at least 10 years. So it's not like this is something new. Now, release the vials sounds very good. They don't have the manufacturing capacity to do it.
But isn't it easier to make a piece of glass with a stopper in it than a syringe?
A whole pen with one dose.
You would think it was, but I think that we've learned with COVID, the worldwide supply chain, if one piece of the chain breaks, every other piece falls down. So everything has to work in concert. And this is just my speculation. There's a piece of the supply chain that's not working in concert.
We need competitors. We need more pharmaceutical companies to come out.
That's happening. There are tons of things and studies.
Yeah.
So
we need competitors.
When it comes to disparities, what scares me right now isn't the shortages. Is my insurance company going to continue to cover it if I
very true
am testing lower with my A1C? Like, I have my updated blood work coming on Friday. I got to go to my doctor. We're going to talk about going up to 10 milligrams. But my concern is that if my A1C is lower and I'm no longer considered pre-diabetes, is my insurance company going to turn around and be like, yeah, we were covering that for you 100%, but ma'am, you're going to have to start paying $1,400 a month for this.
But that's why you
don't have the diagnostic criteria no more.
But that's why you get a clinician that knows how to, and I think Lydia, Kim, Kat, Sabrina, all of us right kind of know firsthand. You get a clinician that knows how to advocate for you for continuation of therapy. This is something that nurse practitioner Gail said, and it really hit home. She said, even if an insurance company tries that trick, and we know nurse practitioner Gail, she, was like, even if an insurance company tries that trick,
I love it.
She said, what your clinician is obligated to say, not just continuation of therapy, but your glucose is controlled. If they take you off of the medication and your glucose goes through the roof, that's a lawsuit. So the thing is control. That's why when people ask me in maintenance, and my doctors have me injecting every week. I'm still injecting every week. Dr. Michael Albert said that, and now it makes sense. Now, everything he says makes sense, but it really makes sense now. Dr. Albert said even in maintenance, the optimal therapy is still to inject weekly, because then you're showing that the medication is working because it's controlling.
Yeah.
And if
getting all of it your system,
right,
and again, all
instead of having the spikes, which is what you don't want. You don't want the spikes.
Right.
You want the control.
When I
because
hit
the spikes
maintenance,
are very unhealthy.
I will always be a weekly injector because I'm here to tell you, if I skip one day, I feel like complete trash when I take that medicine.
Oh yeah.
I skip one day.
I need the inflammation reduction. I can't like move through this world without pain, without the inflammation reduction. So but I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's different.
Right.
You know?
Thankfully, my doctor is amazing, and so I know that if it does come, even though I'm concerned, if it does come to that, I know that he'll be like, "Oh hell no, we ain't gonna let this happen. Not on my watch."
Good.
Yeah,
I mean, and they can fight all they can, but at the end of the day, the insurance companies, the policies for the most part, they're set and they're not evolved. And you will fight, and there will be months where you won't have your medicine, if not years or longer. And that's the thing is they do, and they put every gate they can in place. So now you got to do a PA every dose increase. Now you got to do fucking Weight Watchers. Sorry. I apologize to my daddy if he's watching. I'm sorry, Daddy. Weight Watchers for 6 months. Sorry, Daddy.
Sorry, Daddy.
Weight Watchers for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing everything they can to stall and get in the way of you taking your medicine because they don't want to pay for it. And I don't think we're ever going to. That's where I think a lot of this comes down to living for today, right? Because we can say that we hope, right, that you guys hear it all the time. I will take this medicine forever. The people that are taking this medicine, even the ones on compound, we are in a place of privilege. Oh, hallelujah.
Oh, I love it. Girl, say it again, Tim. Say it again.
Right? Say it again. What do we do earlier?
You have the effects going.
Like this, balloons went off.
Fireworks in the background.
Fireworks went off.
Not working. Like something like
that's
that.
true, right? Like that's the thing is all of us here taking this medicine, guys. People who are on this medicine on brand, like we're gonna call it retail brand, how are we gonna say because there's no generic, right? That is only 2 million people, right? Or no, it's 2% of America. What was the number? Was it 2 million people or two? Was it 2% of America? Let's go with 2% of America that are taking the obesity versions of these medications. 2% that are taking the obesity versions of these medications. That's it out of 40% of America. Like that is a fraction.
They can't even keep up with that.
Yes.
And Dee Dee made a good point right there, what she just said. When your cholesterol comes down, they don't take you off the meds as a rule. Or if your BP comes down, they don't stop the meds. That's
no, they don't. No.
Unless you lose weight, and then they do.
Right.
If you lose weight, and they do, sometimes you do get off of these other medications, right? Because like the weight was the root cause. So sometimes it does happen, but it's not that the disease got better, right? It was just what you kind of like what was contributing. The contributing factor got better. So they do, but it's, it's true though. Like it's nowhere else in medicine do we like stop therapies when they're working for chronic diseases. It's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. And then the NHS in the UK, right? They're like, oh, you can have it for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's it. You're done.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. All we have is today. That's all we've got.
Yeah.
It's like literally legitimately one box at a fucking time. Like that's where we're at. Sorry, Dad.
But that's what you were saying. Someone was in a live from UK that said for Mounjaro, you know how we say and how many of the doctors say stay on the lowest, most effective dose, right?
Yeah.
She said over there, they make you go up every month in dosage.
There are some companies here.
Yeah.
And is that why some people get so sick? Because they're not feeling great and they're like, oh, you're throwing up? Well, we got to bring you up for the insurance. Like,
that's right.
Wasn't that woman who died, who she was taking 2 GLP-1 medications
and
they were moving her up really quickly because she was trying to lose weight as fast
for a
as
wedding.
possible.
Yeah.
Yep. For the
Was
wedding.
it in the UK?
Anytime it talks about speedy weight,
that was Australia.
Level set. You know?
It was a med spa.
It was sad.
Her issue was she was going to 2 different med spas. She was getting 2 different medications. She wasn't listening to her. There was they had one doctor come on that they didn't outright say that they were treating them, but they did later. The husband later said, oh yes, she was getting treated at that med spa. She was taking 2 different medications. She was taking high doses of both those medications. And the husband even went on to say that she wasn't eating. So
wow.
Yeah.
I've had people DM me that have come in my lives and stuff who said that their doctor started them off at 5 milligrams and then now they're moving up to 12.5, and I'm like, what?
Right.
Super scared for those people.
Jumping you all the way to the top.
And like, you got to be careful about what you say, right? But you're like, ooh, like, maybe get a second opinion. I don't know.
This is not medical advice, but you may want to ask somebody.
Like, that's because I can't. I don't know a doctor. I'd be like, but that's what I've told. Do you need a doctor? Like, that's kind of where I go. I know a lot. Do you need one? Because it doesn't sound like it's a lot. You know? Because they deserve care, right? There are people just trying to figure it out on their own, and they're going to someone who doesn't know shit about it. And like, if you don't know about it, just refer people out, for God's sakes. You know,
it said go to an obesity specialist or go to an endocrinologist, because I don't know what kind of doctor you have, but starting at 5 and then bumping you to 12 in a 12.5 in like a month is a bit much.
The thing I always say is, some of these doctors are trying to dose Mounjaro like it's ibuprofen. It don't work like that, bro. It don't work like that.
Look, but that wasn't the worst. Just yesterday, and that's why I made that story of like, y'all are on one today, because my head felt like it was like this. There literally was a community member, and my heart just sunk. After 1 week of 2.5, she said her doctor said, "Oh, it's not working. Let's move you up to 5."
1 week?
Oh my God.
My eyes, Tay can tell you, my eyes were like,
yeah.
What?
It takes a month for birth control to be 100% effective. So like a week?
Any sort of supplement.
I had some come in and go, oh, like my doctor, I've been on it a month, and my doctor decided I wasn't losing weight fast enough and also put me on phentermine and metformin. Why?
Oh, good God.
Are you hungry? No. Are you losing weight? Yeah, losing weight in the first month is already a win, right? Like, I don't understand. Do you need help? Do you need a doctor? Like, that's where I'm at. Let me just connect you with care. Like, you know, because I can't solve that. That sounds awful.
You know, my doctor, he wasn't bumping me up too fast, because he was like, I don't want to move you up too fast. I want to have you on a dose for a few months and stuff. And then, of course, when I asked him, can I bump up to 7.5? He was like, did you get the constipation under control? Because I was like, I'm not losing. Like all last summer I was complaining about it. Finally, we got the constipation under control, and then we started seeing consistent weight loss. And I was like, oh my God, this is what has been hindering me the whole time. So I'm wondering if this is happening to some people. They're having these other side effects. They're affecting their weight loss. And instead of them looking at it, or the doctors rather, looking at it from all angles like mine did, they're just saying, we're going to bump you up to 5. We're going to bump you up to 10. We're going to bump you up to whatever.
Let's just go higher.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing.
The road, 15, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's what pisses me off so about.
Don't go to Big Daddy.
Sweet baby Jesus.
The upper room.
Sorry. There's so many articles where the headline is medications are horrible. Like literally my 2 years of hell on Ozempic. And it's like I was taking it for a month, and then my doctor bumped me up, and then I started vomiting. And then my doctor kept me on it for another 6 months, and then he bumped me up again, and I kept vomiting
every day. Yeah.
And it's like, and two, like I specifically do not want to say like that severe side effects don't happen, or that there are all these cases. Like I know for a fact, like there are people who just can't tolerate them and have some bad side effects from the get-go. And I don't want to take anything away from that experience, but every single day, and I'm not exaggerating, almost every single day, I see an article where the headline is these medications are dangerous and horrible. And invariably, there was at least one person in that article that was having severe side effects, and their doctor bumped them up. And
kept them on it. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
so like, we just try another one. There's not just Ozempic. There's another drug that you can try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what scares me too. Like, you know, what they're saying, that what you were saying, Nick, is that instead of looking at it from the situation of maybe this is not the drug for you, they're just like, well, maybe we should try the next dosage. You know, with Ozempic, it took me 2 years to realize the Ozempic was what was causing my IBS to get worse. Yeah. I went from having like bad explosive diarrhea. We
can talk about it. Poop is a thing.
Every week to having constipation with Mounjaro. Like I got off Ozempic, went on Mounjaro, and within a week, those symptoms, you know, resolved themselves. Yeah. And I realized 2 years of my life with this happening, and it was the damn Ozempic. And then, of course, I talked to my doctor, and he's like, why the hell didn't you tell me 2 years ago that this is happening to you? And I'm like, I didn't know that medication at the time could have done that to me.
Yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, and that's bad. Like you should have told me. And I think that some of these doctors who are not in the know or educated enough on the medications, they're not looking at the side effects and going, should this be happening? Maybe I should dose them down or take them off entirely, try something else. Yeah. Some of these doctors are literally just like the Wild West.
Yeah, it is Wild West.
We're just there to fly by the seat of our pants and do whatever the hell we're going to do.
Yeah. Go ahead, JT.
Look, so I'm sorry. I had my Snuggie because I had Mounjaro cold. Like I was
sorry. Yeah, we all understand that.
Yeah,
I was freezing right now.
Yeah, and I literally was like, oh my God. But what I've learned, and I'm not sure if anyone in the comments on the panel has learned this too. This happened to my mom just recently. Remember, I was so excited. My mom finally got to go to an endocrinologist, and after the appointment, she cried and she said, I finally feel like diabetes was not my fault. I finally feel heard. Yeah. And she went for her follow-up with her primary care physician. Do you know what that ninja did? I'm sorry.
Oh, woo! Did you say
ninja?
No, ninja.
I heard it.
Ninja.
I heard it.
No.
I heard it too. It was
No. He said he got upset because she went to see an endocrinologist. I say all of that to say that some primary care physicians, some general practitioners do not want to refer their patients to specialists because they want to keep them all to themselves. So i.e., if your general practitioner is not well versed in GLP-1s, they're like Kim just said, it's going to be the wild, wild west, as opposed to if you go to a specialist that can maybe better manage you, or go to a telehealth that knows obesity that can better manage you, that may be better. And it's beyond sad because even with, I just went Monday, I haven't even talked about this. I haven't even told my PCP that I have an endocrinologist.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Oh no, because and I'm like, I don't know how that'll shake out. And I'm pretty outspoken, but she scares me. So I'm like, I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle that. And now I'm even like, do I need a new PCP? I mean, like, what do I do? Because she wanted to stop me at 5 milligrams.
Yeah.
See, I think
my A1C was still not under control.
Yeah.
I think that any primary care physician that doesn't want to recommend you to a specialist, it's a red flag. If I go to my doctor and say, I'm not sure why I keep getting dandruff or psoriasis, and he doesn't say, well, ma'am, you need to go to a dermatologist. I'm just here for flu shots and shit. If he's not saying that, and he's like, no, they're just like, no, I'm gonna keep you to myself. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. Totally. My doctor he will very easily tell me, like, ma'am, Kim, I'm a PCP. You need to see your pulmonologist about this shit. Like, no, you need to go back to your gynecologist. I don't prescribe those medications. So any doctor that's like, no, you don't need to see a specialist, red flag. Like that guy that's on TikTok with the red flag. He's like, ma'am.
Waving the flag. Yes. I love that guy.
Kim, I miss seeing your videos. I'm so mad at TikTok for real. I'm like, where is Kim?
I go find her.
I go to Kim's page every other day. And I try not to I don't
know what's going on.
Like her videos, but I'm telling you, it's hard because I'm like, I want to like it. No, I like it tomorrow. I don't want to mess up the algorithm. I like it.
Love it.
Angry at me.
Okay, let's see the next clip.
You ready?
Okay, we're ready.
Kim's favorite.
I made the decision to not continue serving on the board of Weight Watchers. And I made that decision because I wanted no perceived conflict of interest for this special. And I also donated all of my shares in Weight Watchers to the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture so that I could have a conversation with you, Sima Sistani, the CEO of Weight Watchers. And I'm glad you're here because I joined Weight Watchers and joined the board back in 2015. And at the time, I was really very excited. I was excited about, I was counting those points and I said, this is it. This is it. This is it. And I did. I lost some weight. I put back on some weight. And now Weight Watchers has changed its philosophy and has purchased a company that is in the weight loss medications. Can you tell us why that philosophy changed?
We are the most clinically tested, evidence-based, science-backed behavior change program, but we were missing the third prong, which was biology. There could be somebody who needs medications because they have that biological underpinning, and therefore what is so important is for us to provide that care and also to help people release the shame. For all those people who came side by side and took on the behavior change, some of them walked away without the success. Mm-hmm. And to those people, I want to say, it's not your fault.
Why do we need Weight Watchers if we've got Zepbound and Wegovy?
Weight Watchers is not just about weight loss. It's about community, it's about education, and it is about care. That's our new philosophy, is to help people live longer, happier lives with weight health care.
Okay.
On a diet.
I wish that we had done that clip so everybody could
their old changes.
Exactly. We'll go around. We'll each have our moment.
That's right.
Everyone.
Yeah, JT, why do we need Wackabee? Why do we need that?
Okay, so
behavioral.
This might be too literal, but forgive my ignorance. But what was the slogan or the motto last year?
I don't know. I still don't think they know what the slogan or the motto is this year.
I was asking.
I don't think that landed. Y'all need to go back to the drawing board.
It works.
What was the slogan last year? Didn't you say this is new? So what was the slogan last year? I don't know.
Slogan should be like, look, we're sorry.
I mean,
sorry. We're just
okay.
We have to.
And Weight Watchers has been very quiet. They've been
a good decision.
too quiet.
First time.
They have been quiet.
They have been quiet, and I always think of those daggone New England Patriots when they beat Atlanta in the Super Bowl. They were too quiet.
Why do we have to talk about that, JT? Why you had to bring that up?
JT's always
why would you do that?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Atlanta Falcons Day is tomorrow, 3/28.
Yeah, oh yeah, it is. Have mercy.
Sorry.
I'm having flashbacks now.
But I mean, no, but does anyone know what the slogan was last year? And I'm not being funny because I was confused.
I don't think there was a slogan.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I just think they were like, we care about all the things. No, you don't. You're a diet.
I wish that everybody that was here, everybody that's in the chat, all you 111 people, could have seen Kim's face as that woman was talking. Because y'all that are here on the panel, y'all saw me laughing, right? And covering my face. It's because I was laughing with her face. As she talked, literally, Sema starts talking, Kim goes, and then she goes.
But Kim's video was like that part.
Oh
yeah.
Those are
Look,
my favorite. When she
now
pops
you
it.
play retirement.
I still
retirement plan.
Retirement plan.
I still feel the exact same way about Sema that I did before, in that she's just mopping up a mess that years and years of diet culture at Weight Watchers has created, right? But nothing that ever comes out of her mouth is going to be enough. Nothing. Zero. They could hire the PR queen of the planet to tell her exactly what to say, and it will never be enough. They need to
ready for them to be quiet.
Olivia Pope can't help them. I'm sorry.
No, Be quiet. That's
not
it.
Olivia Pope.
What you got, Nick? What you
She
got?
can't help you then.
Here's my thing. Number one, she looked really desperate. I felt like there was someone holding a gun to her head. She's like, no, really? Like,
Oprah's left us. Oprah's left us. I have to say something with substance.
I feel kind of like,
Seema looked a little
you really
uncomfortable.
stepped right in it, didn't you? You know?
But number two.
Sabrina is desperate to say something, so I just want to say that.
Okay, Sabrina, you go next. Nick, finish. Sabrina's next.
This is the most studied behavioral program. You knew that biology was a problem. If you had those results, you didn't just fail some of those people, you failed most of those people. Scientific American says this is one of the most replicable and reliable results in all weight loss interventions is that most people will fail. You had that information. You had that data. Don't pretend you didn't know because
they wanted that bread, son.
I know, but that's
when you know better and you don't do better, that's the problem. That's the problem. They knew. I'm with Nick. They knew. 2012 Victoza, guys. 20 years of geomedic. If you are the head or in any situation of authority for the biggest diet company on the planet, the gold standard in diets, and you didn't know there was a treatment for the disease of obesity for 20 years, you were asleep at the wheel, and I hope you're fired. I hope you're fired because you missed the boat.
Fired. Full Southern. I hope she's fired.
I don't know how I'm getting pissed. I'm with it. They knew. That's the problem. It's different when you know better and you do better. But it's very, very bad when you did know and you did nothing.
Oh my gosh. Flashback. That's what she said last episode when Seema was on the first Oprah episode. She said, "Oh, well, now we know better, so we're gonna do better." You're full of crap. You knew.
People who love Weight Watchers or people who defend Weight Watchers, they hate Noom so much because Noom are like, let's approach it from the psychology perspective.
It's the same thing.
Yep.
He was on.
Here comes Meghan McCain for the Noom. Okay, here we go.
Then Sabrina.
Noom was great to me. I actually, it was anti-diet culture for me. Like,
good. I haven't used it, so I can't talk shit about him.
I can't talk crap about them because
it's the only one I haven't done, y'all. It's the only one.
But I did do Weight Watchers. I did, and I know that
it's because they rejected me. Survey. Like,
help!
And they were like, "No, no one can help you. Go get medicine."
They said thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, honey.
Just push away.
Okay, Sabrina, your turn.
Well, it was kind of speaking to what Nick was saying. So they were talking about biology, right? And they're most studied 20 years. So you guys have already covered what I was going to say, but the second thing I wanted to bring up. So taking a step back, why was Weight Watchers even there? If this was about educating people about GLP-1s, right? Like that's what the intention of this was, the shame game, all of that. Why were they even there? It was a commercial. That's exactly what it was.
I honestly
think it was some respect too.
I think it was to make an underhanded
point. She comes from the media, right? Like that's the thing is Oprah was a news anchor, so she definitely I think lives by the we need to share all. God, that's why I do this show. We need to share all the
perspectives. I think it was an underhanded point. I think that she had her on to say, "Oh, well, you guys have been out here doing all these things and all that. Well, now you bought a company that does these medications."
Yeah, she did say that you bought a. That's what she said. You bought a company.
So I think it was like to make that point. Yeah. Oh, you guys have been on this train about how you need to watch the points and do the things and this and that. And now you're in the GLP game. What's up with that? Why has that changed? Right. Yeah. That's why I think we're on.
And Oprah, we've seen my whole life. Like I remember in the 80s, the first time she lost weight and she came out there, the big
fast, right?
Close it off, you know, and it was all dramatic. And like her weight went up and down for years. And it's like she was Weight Watchers, like spokeswoman. And I'm like, okay, so you're on Weight Watchers and yet you haven't lost. And I was like, this is interesting. So it kind of made the company look a little bad that you've been on it. You're a proponent of Weight Watchers and yet you're still the same size. Does it mean
she lost? She's lost.
It doesn't work, you know.
You always lose. Well, she's always been able to lose
She was
weight.
losing, yeah.
She said when I brought that trash bag of fat, I regained that very day. Like I started regaining after I brought this bag of fat out.
Yeah, always regains. And she said that in that moment too. I was very excited when I joined Weight Watchers. And I was like, this is it. I remember that commercial. And she was like, this is the thing. This is the thing I've been missing. And that's the problem is for a lot of people, including children like myself, adolescents, everybody who thought, if I can't do this one, the one that Oprah does, right? The one that all these people are doing, right? Because like, that's the thing is they were the best at getting these like, spokespeople. Nobody, gold standard. Okay. And they're a machine and they were the best at it. So I thought, and I know other people did too, if I can't make this work, it has to be.
I always came back to Weight Watchers.
I always came back to Weight Watchers. Like I know it sounds bad, but it was like a abusive relationship. Honestly,
it was like, honestly, it was the only system that I could gain.
Let me try again.
Yeah.
Take me back. Of course, they were just willing to take me right back in, take my money, don't use my money. Yeah.
After my second stint with Weight Watchers about a decade ago, I had one of the worst relapses on my bulimia because of Weight Watchers. I said, I got to stop this because the first time I relapsed, so I'm like, all right, I stopped it. Then I went back a couple years later, tried it again, relapsed again. And that second relapse was the worst one I'd had in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe Weight Watchers is the problem for me. Maybe counting of points and trying to eat as few points as possible is not helping,
Certainly not your brain. Like, I mean, you and I struggle. Kat and you and me, we all struggle with binging disorder. And yeah, for sure.
And I have an unpopular opinion.
Oh, let's hear. I want to hear.
Way to go.
So, and I know that, and I'm going back to kind of what Lydia was saying earlier about Dr. Jen when we had that whole conversation, and she stated, people can change. But now when we're looking at Sema and we're thinking about what she is saying there, can she not change as well? Because she can be a change leader. And I do believe in change leaders in that space to try to do, because right now I feel as though it's like it's a lose-lose, I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with that. For her, it's a lose-lose. She and I think she can change 1,000% as a human being, but nothing she's ever going to say as the CEO of Weight Watchers is going to make us all forgive Weight Watchers.
No, and honestly, like they got to worry about the new generation. Like I've said that from the beginning, you got to quit with the ones that are broken, y'all. Go for the new one. And I will tell you, I don't even talk shit about her. Like, cause I don't want, if I want to get an apology, guys, I want the old white guys who decided to give me a book and create a platform for me as an adolescent to learn to obsess about food as a young girl. I want those people. I want those people who decided, let's create a system where we're not honest about any nutritional facts. And we just assign it a point to where you need us forever because you don't know how to eat without us. That's people I want an apology from.
And that's going to be the person. That is the one.
Right. So for her, it means nothing to me.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It means nothing to me.
I agree. I feel like it goes back to what Kim said too.
Like Kim,
with that same guy saying, "Oh, change your face and put it on your body." Like that's the one we need to rise for.
Yeah, right.
Be ready. We ride now for that. And I feel like it's the same. Like it goes back to that person because, and I'm in banking, and I feel as though you have to use your words wisely. We talk about perception multiple times, and I feel like it goes back to perception because my perception is going to be different from Nick's. He's gonna be different from Sabrina's, and it's all in the delivery. If the delivery is not good, it's going to have you're gonna have a bad experience, and it's all about the experience. Because I hear people now say that they're still with Weight Watchers because their experience is different from what it may have been for anybody else, and so that's what I feel like is like that person is what made it horrible. It really is. That's what made it horrible. And I used to get the books and things, but I've never even been to a meeting. But the stories that I hear, that is awful. It really is awful. Now I see the people again, because I always like to see both sides. I'm always gonna see it. I
like the reasons that you're here.
Because I'm a believer in putting myself in everyone's shoes. And if I was there with somebody that had a horrible experience, it would be a horrible experience for me because I know who I am. Now, if I was there and it was a perfect experience and I'm just like, this is for me. These are my people. I have found my tribe. That makes it different. That makes it different.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's fair. And I think that, I think you guys know, I am very much anti-Weight Watchers. I just am. Now, that being said, I've had plenty of people that follow me like, I like it, Kim. And I'm like, I'm so happy for you. Right. Mm-hmm. That is how I feel about it. I want anybody to use what works for them. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if there were any other company that have traumatized the amount of people that they have traumatized that tried to get into healthcare, we would uprise. Right. Mm-hmm. Like it's very, very bad. And so I can't, like, for me and myself and my personal opinion and my platforms, right? Like, I don't feel comfortable being like, sure. Like, and I also have like, there's a certain sense of like responsibility I feel to be as authentic as I possibly can be. And so I definitely talk about my opinions because they are my platforms. The difference is I invite people like you and people who think different to share. I have had many, many people that are with Weight Watchers now on this show.
Right.
I've had them on the show and I have let them say that they're with Sequence and that they are with Weight Watchers, but they've also talked about their poor experiences when they were young on Weight Watchers.
That's right.
So
and can we make a point too?
I really do. I want everybody to. It's important.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I know some people were saying in the chat, and I was looking at some of the comments about like James Corden and
DJ Khaled.
Yeah, like where are they? And I didn't even think about that, but I was like, I haven't seen them in forever. Like when we thought and we've seen now Oprah, and I feel like that's the only person we've seen. But where are the rest of them? Like, are they done now that they are doing, given the GLP-1?
They're on Ozempic. That's where everybody, where are they now?
Where are they now? Like, I wonder, like, literally, did you, before they switched over to say now they're doing injections, like now did you gain your weight back? Like, what is going on? Where are you?
Oprah was big enough to break her NDA. That's the thing. I don't think any of them could break their NDA. Yeah. They're not big enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Oprah flushed it all down the toilet. Oh God, I love her so much. I loved her before, but Lord help me, I'm
she really loves you now.
Are you ready for the?
I'm looking at the comments.
Let's do it.
Next clip. You pick up
more. Calories in, calories out. If you're fat, you're lazy. None of those things were true for my daughter.
It was Maggie's pediatrician that brought it to our attention. He believed it was a genetic ties and that she needed extra help. And it was a severe case.
Maggie was 13 years old in 8th grade when she had bariatric surgery. But just as a mom, seeing your child wheeled into an operating room, there's that moment of, am I doing the right thing? Around the time of the bariatric surgery, Maggie was also prescribed Victoza. Victoza is a liraglutide, early predecessor of Ozempic, or a Semaglutide that a lot of people take now.
I remember whenever I was in 3rd or 4th grade, a little girl came up to me and told me that I was fat. And in that moment, it was the first time in my life that I realized that I was different, or that I felt different from everybody else.
Don't forget to take your medicine before church, babe.
Okay. The Victoza helps me not eat as much.
When she started to lose that weight, it was like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon.
Guys, I'm going to prom for my first time.
For Maggie, obviously, it was all about fashion and clothes and friends and parties. But for me, it was no more fatty liver disease. A1C levels are normal. 2 years after surgery was the first time she had ever had normal blood work come back.
I was like,
it prepared her for a life of health and fitness and wellness.
Oh my God, you're so pretty.
Her story touched me so much.
And you know what I think was a moment that was missed on this entire show, and this would have been the perfect opportunity, is no one discussed what insulin resistance is. Nobody discussed it. Nobody said, and that would have been perfect. Why does a diabetic medication work on people with obesity? You had obesity.
Elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a huge miss. Yeah, that story got me too. I mean, I was very similar, not to that level of weight. And I got to tell you, before this show, I didn't even know there was such a thing as bariatric surgery for children with obesity. Now, my obesity was bad, right? When we had Dr. Rosen on episode 5, which was called Fat and Lazy, I asked him when he said, listen, let's talk about it. Because in my brain, I'm like, I would never. First of all, my child lives in a smaller body. I mean, he's a tall, big human, but he's little. Right. So that's a very different thing. If I'm seeing a child that looks like me going through what I went through, you have to have the conversation. Right. We all have to at least consider. And Dr. Rosen said that. And I heard him, I just didn't even know that was a thing. And he goes, oh, yeah. Like we have all of these testings that we can do now to test for genetics. And there's this thing called Prader-Willis. I think is how you say it. Prader-Willis. And he talked about specifically about how the only treatment for Prader-Willis is a lock on the refrigerator. It's the only treatment. These children that struggle with this genetic disease. But bariatric surgery and these medications are good options, right? So he was saying, like, you have to talk about it. But we always look at it like, keep these shots away from our kids. That was what he said. That was kind of like the theme, right? Keep all these shots. The shots for, for people that, want to transition and things like that, right? Like he's like, that's a big thing around shots, no shots, right? No hormones, no this, no that. But people just aren't educated enough. They really aren't. So we've had a couple episodes about childhood obesity, and we will continue to do that because the conversation has to be had. And I think that it's just a matter of having options. But he did say, I thought this was really powerful. He said, why would you not consider an FDA approved medication of which we have 20 years of data on, right? Before going through a surgery that's likely not life-threatening for the child, but it's still, that could happen, but it is life-altering. Their life will be different forever, right? If you have surgery, it's not reversible, right? So it's something to consider. I think we're there where we have to talk about it, So I know it really bothered me about the fact that they could only get Victoza, but as someone who has taken Victoza and had success on it, not awesome success, but success, any of these medicines are a blessing. Like it's anybody that gets to take them ever is in a place of privilege, guys. It's amazing you can get it at all because of the cost. I mean, honestly, the cost is the barrier to entry for almost everybody.
Right.
Right. Did you guys see that TikTok that just went around where someone said it cost them like $5 to make a vial?
Oh, even less than that. Dr. Jenna said,
yeah. I know Weight Dogs with Weight Watchers, but she is in the circle of trust.
But I think it's even like less than that. Yeah, they're super. The amount of medicine is like cents, like underneath.
There is a counter argument to that, though.
Yeah, what is it?
I've seen these things about like, Five Guys, you can buy a potato for $1, but they had to invest so much money, in developing these. So not to the degree of what the prices are. No. But $5 isn't the true cost of what it took them to make these meds because they're in the hole.
Right.
They're rich beyond, God, but
business perspective only.
Yeah.
They're trying to reap as much. And we did discuss that on the compound episode. I don't know if you saw this, episode 19. I said, why is it so much less expensive? And he was like, well, for 2 reasons. We don't have any of the research stuff that we're trying to make up. Right. So what we charge for is what we charge for it. He's like, and we also don't have to worry about the manufacturing and the pens. We just use vials. Yeah. Right. So predetermined, pre-used, like all these different things. Right. Yeah. So it is something to consider. That being said, why haven't things changed with Saxenda Victoza when they lost their patent last year, but they're still charging $1,000 a month for their medication?
Why hasn't someone done a generic if they lost their patent?
They'll do it this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think nobody's talking about it. I think it's going to be a huge on-ramp. On-ramp for people.
Yeah. And Eli Lilly has asked doctors not to write any more scripts for Trulicity.
Because they want to use the pens.
Oh, well.
Right? They want to use the pens. It's the same effing pens. I can see I know my daddy's here. See, Daddy?
Daddy. She said effing.
I said effing. Get in there. Sorry, my daddy's very Southern. He's from Decatur, Georgia. We don't say those words.
Decatur, where's greater? Okay.
Decatur, Georgia, sweet tea, biscuit loving man. Like,
meanwhile, I'm from Louisiana and I cuss like a sailor on Drunken Shoulders. Can't help.
TikTok Live has taught me not to swear because I'm like, oh, the algorithm's going to kill me if I say the F word right now.
That's why the algorithm kicks my ass on a daily basis, because like I'm F this and F that.
No, I'm watching
My dad
that.
knows it's just because I'm
You gotta watch that. You
I
gotta
love
watch
you, Dad. Anyway, should we listen to another clip? You want to do the rest?
Yeah.
You have another one? Yeah. Okay, we'll do the other Maggie.
This journey with her team of doctors that she has now, the entire goal was to have bariatric surgery because we thought that was going to be the fix.
The answer.
But the first appointment that we had with her doctors post-surgery, they looked at her charts and they said, this is not having the effect that we had hoped that it would.
Maggie was one of the first teenagers in the country to be prescribed these medications. So what were you told were the risks if your daughter did take the Victoza and the risks if she did not?
Well, the risk, obviously, of not taking the medicine and not trying to find another solution for her obesity was that she would become diabetic. She was already diagnosed with prediabetes and the fatty liver disease. And I had a healthcare professional at one point tell me that she would be 500 pounds by the time she was 16 and that she would die. I mean, just flat out, she will die young.
So you're taking the Victoza, but you really want to be taking one of the other medications. But those other medications have not been...
They're not covered by insurance, and we cannot afford them.
Okay. I know that there are many people who are watching who think putting a minor on medications for weight loss is unthinkable or too risky. You've received a lot of criticism for that, you and your family. What do you want to say about that?
I would say walk a mile in our shoes. You don't have any idea what it's like to live with obesity until you have. And you have no idea what it's like to raise a child who's suffering from a disease that you don't have access to the medicine for.
Yeah. When did you know it was a disease? Did you get that memo in 2013?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. None of us did.
We did.
Another missed opportunity to talk about.
I'm still looking for my email then. Still.
Yeah,
It's in your spam, girl. It's in your spam.
It's in the spam folder.
Clearly.
It's in the junk folder.
I mean, that's what I think, Janine, you said it earlier, like people, or maybe it was you, Lydia, that the people who criticize this, it's like, do you not think that we've tried everything? That we've tried literally everything. And for me,
that woman could not have said it any better when she said, walk a mile in my shoes. And I will say that for each and every one of us on this panel and each and every one of us in the chat, that you have not walked 2 steps in my shoes to know the life I've lived, the things that I've tried, the things that didn't work, the things that were never going to work, right? I think if you're going to try to talk about, you should have some, if you're going to talk, you better have some experience. And if you don't have any experience, just be quiet.
Exactly.
And it's like when I started Ozempic, I said, you know what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
I was like, I've already tried everything else. I'll try this. And it worked. And then I tried Mounjaro, and Mounjaro worked even better.
Yeah.
So
as a mother, right? Looking at your kid, seeing that they have whatever, it could be anything. If it's within your power to help them, who the hell is someone else to judge that what I'm going to do for it could have been any kind of medical condition, but who the hell is anybody else to say anything about what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to do anything within my power to help my kid.
100%.
Yep. Yeah.
Anything.
That's right.
And these medications, sorry, I'm cold again.
We're all cold.
Right, yeah, exactly. I'm freezing right now.
These medications, and when Maggie was saying that she was having a normal life, now since more people are being vocal, we talked about that earlier, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if you all are noticing, but in terms of the fat shaming, a lot of people, but especially men to women, that would fat shame women publicly and like online. And now it's like, okay, well, now what can you say? But they still, like, not they, but many still want to have something to nitpick. So now they nitpick and say, oh, well, you're on Ozempic. So it's like the misogyny, the, shaming. Yeah. It's like all wrapped into one. And I saw a post on Instagram, no, on TikTok, and I knew the young lady, and the guy was a gym bro, and he told her, well, you're, still overweight according to BMI. Like, he put that online, and she's like, I've lost 55 pounds. I'm 5'3", and I'm a size 8. And he said, well, you just still need to work out. I mean, it's like the worst in people are being revealed from these medications. And it's almost like Cat Williams said, this is the year of truth. I'm like, oh, goodness.
That's like Jillian.
He said the tone
Year of
already.
the dragon. It's the year of the
Isn't that
dragon.
funny? Isn't that funny though, how like the GLP medications, like I feel in a way like all these people that I've met, all of us here on the panel, everyone in the chat, it's made us better people, and it's made the outsiders in some cases worse people. Isn't that weird?
We're talking about that, but I have personally witnessed people who have gone the other direction.
Well,
there's always gonna be
really.
I don't
Sometimes people that become
skinny
skinny forget themselves. That's all I'm gonna say. Sometimes they forget where they came from. However, I do feel like the majority of the people are trying to do better and be better and help others. And I think that's
true. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm still waiting for Jillian Michaels to give her apology for us because it's
like
I don't think it's
like,
gonna happen.
Jillian.
She's doubled down. Let me tell you.
She's the old white guy that Kim wants the apology from, or they're sitting at a bar together like, we don't do it.
We're not gonna do it.
They're here to criticize these medications. It's like, ma'am, aren't you the one that stars people for a living and screams at them? Like, isn't that what you did? The show you were a part of, most of those people came off and saying they have metabolic damage now.
Yes.
They can't lose weight.
They do. No, they're
Now, my favorite
We
thing
are
is
going to have
having
someone on our show that was on The Biggest Loser, though.
Yeah,
that was my show, though. I can't lie about
and
that.
And she actually won.
JT got it. JT got
what?
it.
And do you remember also
She actually won
the
the
Biggest
season.
Loser, but also was Extreme Makeover Weight Loss Edition?
Oh, yes.
That so infuriated me. They had a woman who had an eating disorder as one of their patients, and she had to lose like I think 50 pounds within like 3 months or whatever. I was like, how are you? She's got BED. She's bulimic, and that show infuriated me. Anyway, more so than The Biggest Loser.
I never watched them. I couldn't watch them.
The fact that she has a mental health podcast is like Jack Kevorkian working in suicide prevention.
Irony.
It's insane. It is
like a Sackler family saying we're going to start an opioid, support group. Like, ain't y'all the ones that started shit?
I'm dying to know, like, who is watching her? Unless they're just, or is it just sort of like
all the people that hate us?
Yes, that part.
It's the people that hate us, Kim. That's who's watching her.
Yeah,
it's the people that can't stand.
Individuals that lost their way for her. That's what it is.
Or people with a humiliation kink. Because I've known some people like, I videos. I'm like, no, I don't want.
She herself grew up with fat shame, though.
A humiliation kink.
She did.
I think a lot of these people did. That's why they feel comfortable with her, because they're like, oh, I grew up with this, and this is what I.
It is very traumatic, and trauma at a young age, especially, it physically does something to the brain. Like there's a lot of things like. I know I'm never going to get past. I know I won't, and I know there are people who've been through way worse than me, but I think it's just about kind of recognizing and trying to do better,
So I have another unpopular opinion.
All right.
Oh, I love it. Set it on fire, girl.
While you're here, tell us.
So, and I really liked, again, so I am one of those people, and I was actually at a board meeting today, and we did like another type of DISC assessment. So if you've ever done a DISC assessment before, like it literally tells you about, I feel like it reaches into your soul and tells you everything about you that you never thought that you knew or you could bring to the surface.
Like a fortune cookie.
But definitely do it. If you have not, go take one just for
you say
kicks
DISC,
and giggles,
right?
whatever.
DISC?
Yeah, DISC.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And the thing about it is I really loved motivating people and watching them be a better them. And that's why I liked it. That's why I liked it so much. Now, I didn't necessarily like the things that Jillian Michaels was doing. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in yelling at people to make them do things, to make them run a mile that they were, try to do when they were younger. But I felt as though, too, like when they finished, they were like, you know what? I couldn't do this before, even in gym class. Now you allow me to be able to do it. And I'm that person that's like, you know what? That touches me because now you're bettering yourself. And so I feel as though, and even in that moment as well, if you are trying to better yourself, then I'm going to root you on. I feel like it's the same. It is the same way I feel about everything. And I just want them to be better. That's what I want for everybody. Anybody and everybody. I just want to be that motivator and that person to say, you know what? I just give your 2% today. Give your 2%. And I am glad that you gave that. That's it.
But that's the thing about Jillian, though, is 2,000% was never enough for her.
Never
it was
enough.
always
never enough.
You are going to get off that treadmill when you die off of it. If this hurts, you think that you're never going to make it. You've got 3 more months of this hell, and you deserve it. Like
I don't care how you feel. I just want your ass smaller.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, really, I was always Team Bob. Bob's team always has to win, even though sometimes he did not. I was always for Bob because Bob was mellow. And he was just
like, there was a guy who like fell off a treadmill and he like stepped on his belly and said, "This is why you need to work out." Like,
oh well,
I'm just like this.
They all had their moment.
The ends do not justify the means.
My brain just did exactly what Kim said. She goes, "The fuck." That's exactly what my brain did.
What?
For me,
I mean, I still appreciate what Tiffany's saying. There is no way, and the only reason I even started to consider like anything with Weight Watchers at all is because if we're always in this, like, I watch way too many cult things, but if we're always in this,
we need to talk. You told me to
talk. But I watch way too many things. But if we're always in this us versus them, nothing's ever going to change. And it is very hard for me to get into a place to receive anything positive about Weight Watchers. But I really try. Right. I really do. And I try to offer that space on the show. Can they advertise? No. But
you're watching your show after all now. Okay.
No. But that wasn't to you, boo. That was to them. But, no, they can't. But are there certain things that I would consider? Yeah. And it's not for any other part, but it's a piece of healing for everyone. For everyone. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's something that I've learned doing this show and bringing us all these hurt souls in one place, right? It's about us learning and it's about, the healing piece, but it's also about us growing to that next self, right? And that is a journey and a process and any other thing that you want to like throw at it. But I mean, it's very important and it is very hard for me, but I am trying, and I do think that it's important for people to say those things. That being said, I do think sometimes you're going to hit a point with people. Jillian Michaels is likely one of them where I'm kind of like, I ain't giving her any more attention. Like, she ain't coming to the table with something better. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
You got to actually come with something better, not just be like, ooh,
It's just shame.
I never liked her. I
don't tolerate shame.
Season of The Biggest Loser. I was like, this woman is what the no. Like, and then what you said, Nick, about the guy putting his foot on his fat belly, my anger issues could never. I'd be like, I'm off the show because I'm about to be like,
listen,
couldn't be me. I'm gonna
just call 911 because Bob has 2 black eyes.
What were they? They started like new trainers on afterward. I think Dolvet, he was cute. Was it Dolvet?
Oh yeah,
Dolvet.
With the lady with the long hair, yeah.
And then the tennis player, they were nicer. They were a lot
much
nicer.
Dolvet
talked
because she used to be in a bigger body. Like she was obese and she had been through everything, and I felt like she had more empathy than they did, and that is really what you need in a trainer or really in anybody. I feel like everybody should have an ounce, if nothing at all, of empathy. You got to.
And they sold us down a river with that whole thing. You go on The Biggest Loser and work out for 8 hours a day and eat celery. Of course, you're going to lose 100
That's true.
I think the reality though of the Weight Watchers thing, is that at the end of the day, it is a company that's been around 60 years and they are no longer relevant for the majority of people that struggle with regain. Let's keep it really simple.
Not at all. No, regain keeps them in business, but
Right? They are
they
no
eat
longer
liver and
relevant
onions. Yeah.
because of these medicines. And it was undeniable. If you look at their stocks, it's undeniable. There was no choice but to pivot or perish. Okay.
Yeah.
So from a business perspective, purely, and there were likely people with good intentions, right? Like there were probably in there. Certainly those people are not in charge of their marketing. I'll tell you that.
Right.
They are not, those people have it is clear the same people are in charge because it is so out of touch. It is so out of touch.
They're
and
trying.
I hope they figure that. I hope that's important that they do better. And I hope they start targeting a different demographic because that's going to be their best bet, But I think that at some point they got to quit apologizing. They got to quit doing all that other stuff. And they just got to focus on hey, this is what we do. I don't know how they would change that because at the end of the day, they're still teaching people to count and track and restrict. That's still part of it, regardless if it's the medicine or not. Some people though feel like that they need that. I do think a lot of that goes back to because that's what we feel like we deserve. I think that's what we feel like we have to have. That's how we have to make work. That's me, my body, my life, and my stuff, right? And other people feel different. So if people want a Noom, if people want a Weight Watchers, if people want freaking Nutrisystem, if they feel like that's what they need with a combination of these medicines, then I think that it's great that you do that, But at the end of the day, I do not think that there are just these warm, hugging, kissing people trying to make it.
Yeah.
There was no choice but to pivot or perish. That's where their business was.
They're not singing "We Are the World" with us.
Yeah. So, but that's just where I sit with it. That's me, in my opinion, my stuff. Do we have any more clips? Or are we done?
Oh no, we got some clips. Which ones do you want to?
We'll do a couple more.
You know what? I really want to get everybody's reaction for Eli Lilly and Novo speaking together.
Especially after shortage. Let's talk about it, girl. Let's roll the footage. Yeah.
Miguel Morris is a senior vice president for Novo Nordisk, the Danish company behind Ozempic and Wegovy. And Rhonda Pacheco is the group vice president for Eli Lilly, the American pharma company that manufactures and sells Mounjaro and Zepbound. And they've been sitting together this entire hour. I wanted to ask you, in the Novo Nordisk offices, when this hit TikTok and became like a sensation, what was going on back there?
It was actually over 2 decades ago that Novo Nordisk made a stand that obesity is a disease and that the shame that society heaps on people who are dealing with excess weight and obesity needs to stop. And both of those things were equally important. And I'll say it over and over again as someone who still, myself, struggles with excess weight and obesity. I have to remind myself constantly, this is not a personal failing.
Yes.
Even surrounded by all this education and data and doing what I do for a living.
And so can you both talk about access? First of all, running out of the drugs, I guess that's because the demand was so high, correct?
Unprecedented demand. I think people are getting the memo like you're talking about. And people are really understanding that this is a disease, and they're seeing treatments that are showing this efficacy. And so they're going out and they're speaking to their physicians. And so it is unprecedented. It's also
And there are a lot of physicians who are not informed about it.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So the job's not done.
And now, after a show like this, you're going to have people debating it all over the place and people.
But it's a healthy discourse, right? And I think that that's important to have that discussion. So access is complex, just like the disease itself is complex. Obesity medications are not covered to the same extent, and that's why that out-of-pocket cost is what it is.
When you look at obesity, that it's nowhere near the coverage that we need.
Well, I thank you both for being here the first time in 100 years. This is.
They looked so uncomfortable sitting next to each other.
Did she really say unprecedented twice?
She did. She said it more than just those 2 times. She said it in another clip.
They've had this data forever.
Not unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Their prices are unprecedented compared to other countries too. So
they are.
That's how wild it is.
Listen, somebody said that they looked uncomfortable. You know who looked uncomfortable?
Seema.
If I was Amy sitting next to Seema, I'd have been like,
I would never. I couldn't. But I don't hate her. Like that's like she's just doing her job. Like
she's just doing.
But you don't know.
Seema might be like, listen, I am about to plan this exit because
I'd let her come on the podcast. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see you over.
Who was before her? Because I was trying to figure out who was before her though.
Before Seema,
yeah, because I always think about that. Like she, that's why I say it's still like a lose, and she's trying her best. I believe. I believe everybody's trying their best until
do think it's a lose.
They show me that they're
for this generation. I think anything. Honestly, I think anything X going forward. Anything Gen X, anything or backwards. You're looking at.
Yep.
I think it's a lost cause. You can't. You're not going to change minds at this point. Yep. There's a different target audience and you should lean into that. And I think that's what the GLP-1 house was kind of trying to do for some of the younger creators, like the ones that are on like Insta. There's a good bit of younger creators I saw that kind of went that were from Insta. And I think that was kind of the goal, right? Is to kind of get, and I don't think they have a lot of stuff. Yeah. I also think by the time a lot of the kids, I'm such an old lady. I think a lot
they were young,
like millennials, right? And backward for I don't know how I'm thinking, but I think they in general, a lot of that super toxic stuff that we dealt with in the 80s and the 90s, I think by then most of that was gone from Weight Watchers, right? Like the really bad stuff that a lot of the people like dealt with, and they weren't targeted as children and stuff like that, so I think that a lot of that was gone. So I think their experience is different, like you were saying, different. Their experience is different.
Could be.
So that's your best shot if you want to survive. But right now it's not going well, so they're going to need to get whatever today's Oprah is, right? I don't know, to get on board if that's what they want. And that person will have to lead, and that person will have to actually show how they're using the GLP version, whatever with their how they're doing it, like tracking it one by one. They need to start from the beginning. That's where they're at. They keep trying to like make up time and solve solutions and all this crap, and it's just not working. Let it go.
Yeah.
I agree. Somebody made a comment. Kat De Silva said something the way Oprah said Mounjaro. Yeah, she probably did use the OG coupon. Yep.
Oh, Mounjaro.
Use the OG coupon.
I don't think that Oprah needed a coupon.
She's a billionaire.
No, but that's what Kat said.
Multi-billionaire.
Not Kat, but I can see that. Mounjaro.
You give Mounjaro. You give Mounjaro. Everybody gets Mounjaro.
Watching it together, we were all hoping for that.
All over TikTok.
I know. I know I was. Look under your seat. Okay. Yeah.
The scream I would let out if she's like, look, there's a lifetime supply under that seat. She's got a coupon. Like,
there you go. That's your coupon.
Okay. I would love it.
Don't lose it. The terms and conditions won't change in 60 days.
It will not.
Because that's what they do. This is always subject to
under
change.
your seat, every dose.
Yeah.
Every dose.
1 year.
Yeah. Plus, look. Plus a refrigerator to keep
it. Your little beverage refrigerator.
Yeah. Do we have other clips?
We do.
Want some more clips?
A couple,
Let's do want to do the bagel one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
To have to be on the opposite side of the spectrum where food does not control your life.
Yeah, it's interesting because like many of you were listening, you know that I'm literally thinking about as I'm eating
breakfast, what's for lunch?
What's going to happen? What am I going to have for lunch? Yeah. Listen, and as Christmas is coming, what am I going to eat then? And how much am I going to eat? And how much am I going to gain?
Absolutely.
The difference for me being on the medication is now I can eat a half a bagel and be fine.
Right. You mean if I go out to dinner and I order a dessert with my husband?
But I still want the bagel.
Totally.
Yeah. Not like I don't want the bagel.
Exactly.
I just want less of the bagel.
And I think there's such a misconception around these medications that it makes you not want the bagel.
Yes. Okay, so it's one of the last acceptable biases. First of all, what is the difference you feel in how people treat you in a smaller body versus being in a bigger body?
I am treated like a completely different human being. And now that I'm in a smaller body,
I mean, people are friendlier. And this is the part that I struggle with, is that I find that people are nicer to my children when I'm out with my children, right? I feel that it's just like in general, but.
There's a lot to unpack in that.
Wow.
I think
Okay,
Amy
Sabrina
did an
got one.
excellent job of representing the majority of people in this.
She did.
I think she did a very good job. I was very
Strong J, Amy.
Yeah, I was very teary-eyed by it. I thought she did such a good job representing. I really did. I thought it was excellent. I would not have been able to keep myself composed as much as she was in front of Oprah.
Oh, yeah.
She was very articulate and wonderful. I thought she did such a good job. And she even kind of leaned into the whole spectrum piece, like insulin resistance spectrum. I don't know if they just cut it or if they wouldn't let her do it because she's not a doctor. And probably didn't know most people in there. But, there's all what we do, right? We're bathed in it the way we are on TikTok. And we're in this echo chamber where we hear about it all the time, But I do think that it's interesting what Oprah said was like, you guys weren't even thinking about the bagel. We couldn't stop. And I wonder, guys, I'm oversimplifying, right? But I swear my body wanted the highest calorie things and they knew what equaled the highest calorie thing. I say they, like my brain, right? Like knew. They knew I wanted cake. They knew I wanted fries. They knew I wanted the bagel. They knew I wanted because they thought they were starving all the time, right?
Yep.
And having that stop, that's been the thing, right? And I feel like that's why when I tell you, I can see the moment in Oprah, like where she's like, this is the way, this is the thing, right? And then you become a GLP-1 evangelist, but I think that's why I see like a lot of these other creators, right? That are talking about like, being on these medications and body positivity and staying away from it and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's one, because like we said, because of age. And I think it's two, they haven't felt it, but Oprah got it, There's anybody that needed to get it. This was the one. That was the one.
I just
want everybody to try it. If you try it, you tell me it's straight trash, I'll be like, you do whatever you want. Whatever you want. Yeah. Then I get culty. That gets really culty. Yeah.
No, but I think there's something to it. I really do think that there's something to it. I think that, I'm the same way you are. I tell everybody that who's even not even willing to listen to it, I'm like, no, listen, and they're like, no, I'm good. Yeah. So I feel like everyone should try it. But I just want to touch base on what Amy said in her clip about the difference, right? Like she's been on both ends of the spectrum. So have I. I've been on very extreme ends. I mean, my lowest was like 125 and the highest was like over 320. So there is 100%. There is a difference in the way you are treated and the just existing in life. It's mind-boggling how different people treat you and your children. So when she said that, I had immediately lost it because I know exactly what she's talking about. Yeah. It's going to a restaurant when I was in a larger body, people would watch what I was eating. They would watch me eat. That doesn't happen when you're in a smaller body. They'd watch what you were eating, how much you were eating, how many times you were filling up your plate or whatever the case is. Like, I can't even go into the differences that you experience when you're in a bigger body versus a smaller body. And it's heartbreaking. It really, truly is.
I experience a bit of a difference, but I'm still in a big body. So I'm like Kim, like I have a lot to lose. Like I'm still in a big body, but I do notice the attention of men and the attention of here's a coupon and a discount you didn't ask for. And just stuff like that does kind of blow my mind. This sounds weird, but like people letting me into traffic. Right. Like if it's a man.
Wow.
And the amount of people, I don't have to like nose my way into I'm not invisible anymore. Right. So like I notice those kinds of things, but it's never been to like the extent to like I'm treated so much, but I'm also, again, like I'm not in a tiny body, So
as your friend though, I feel like I have to say that we all recognize that you're in a much smaller body than you're giving your body credit for.
I recognize that. I'm just saying, like, from a society like America, like 14 is not small, right? It's not. It's like 14, 16, that is plus size. And I very much like it, actually. I think it's great. Like, I wish I didn't have the skin because it's uncomfortable and health stuff, but I'd be okay with this. I really would be.
I mean, I'm still, like you said, I do still have a lot to lose, but I've had people around, coworkers that are saying,
you sound.
Try again. Go ahead. Try again.
I was saying, like, I have coworkers that every single day they're like, we really see you losing. I'm like, I've come in here in new dresses with my hair looking good, my nails looking good, and y'all never compliment me for anything. The minute I start dropping some pounds, every single day, someone has to mention how much weight I've lost, and they could really see it. It's not that I don't appreciate the compliments, but it's very interesting how in society we put some sort of like success. We celebrate people who are losing weight, but it's like, but when they're looking nice and they're happy just being in their own body, it's like, no, that's not good enough. We need to see you losing the weight.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
And they tell themselves that it's because they want you healthy. And maybe some people do. Like, I do feel like my parents wanted that. But I also had sisters that were in small bodies, and they were very active cheerleaders, dancers, these kinds of things. And I was not. And they did treat them different, and they did seem more proud of them. Now that could easily have been my shit. You know what I mean? I think they loved me and were very proud of me for all the things I did in my own right. I felt that from them, and they gave that to me. But even from them, it was different. It was different. It was. I saw them. I saw my dad being proud of my sisters that were able to wear little shorts and bounce and do cartwheels and all of these crazy things. And I was lucky if I wasn't getting chub rub, frankly, anywhere we went, So, yeah, you know what I mean? Everybody knows.
Like, I have a stick. I have a stick called Chub Rub. I still use it because the shape is real, honey.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on vacation somewhere hot. Zip, 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 zip. Yep.
Yeah. For sure. I think there is a huge piece that, like, I'm wondering. I think that they missed. Like, and this is only episode 1, for God's sakes. She is Oprah, but she's not. I mean, she is.
Yeah.
But the piece of being able to forgive yourself for all the emotional and mental abuse that you gave yourself in response to being in a bigger body and dealing with issues with food.
Yeah.
That piece, it's just.
We have a clip for that.
That's huge.
Great. Let's play it.
I'm looking all in the comments.
Okay, you do.
Is that the Hope one?
Some comments, JT.
The rest of your life, or Hope? It's Oprah and Hope and Letting Go, right?
The Hope one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the mindset that she needs to love it along with it is just like beyond.
And I think that happened. You tell us why that happened, that you're able to show up. I think I'm going to cry too. Now, we cannot start to cry.
Like, what?
No.
Where is it coming from?
I think the reason that happens is because there is now a sense of hope, number one. And number two, you no longer blame yourself.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you how many times I have blamed myself because you think I'm smart enough to figure this out. Yeah. And then to hear all along, it's you fighting your brain.
That guilt that you feel where you blame yourself.
Yeah.
It's twofold when you're the mom.
Yeah.
And that's why when you said knowing the right way to support your child hit my heart, because there are people who criticize what we have done for our daughter, because I had to weigh that. Like, how do I treat her to love herself exactly as she is right now and still support her desire to be in a different body?
Yep. That's wonderful. Okay, so I recently made the decision to not continue serving on the
I really liked seeing her honestly get emotional. That was a big thing for me.
It was big.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I was on the show, like that was one of the things I brought up with me when I first started noticing that I'm not just losing weight. There's things that are coming back to my life that I missed, that because I used to play sports. I mean, I've always been bigger, but I wasn't like this big where I can't fit into seats and stuff like that. And I started seeing these little things in this past fall. Like, we went to this one movie theater and I realized I could fit in the seats. It was one of those dinner theater things. And I'm like, whoa, I couldn't fit in these seats 5 years ago. Now I can. Walking around, when I walked around with my husband around Costco, and we were walking around Wegmans and everything. And I realized I wasn't out of breath. I didn't have to sit down anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was telling a friend later on about it, and then I started crying because I was like, we're planning this big Europe trip. And I remember saying, there's no way I can go around walking as I am, because right now, like in our life, with me being the obese one, my husband's always thinking, you know, how far away do I have to park for her? Do I need to drop her off at the door? He's always very caring in that way. But it was embarrassing for me for so long, because I'm like, this man loves to go walking, he loves to go exploring, and he can't do that with the fat wife. And when I started seeing that I was regaining that ability to do those things, it was like my mind was blown. I was like, this is what I've wanted. I don't care about cute clothes anymore. I don't care about being skinny mini. I care about having my, don't you dare, girl.
Get it. I got you.
I get it. Come on. It's
okay. Oprah said that we can't start crying right now.
Bernie
just doesn't cry. Kim, you do what you do.
Because that was the moment. That was the moment.
Yeah, but it's like, it was the moment for me, because I'm like, my life is coming back. This is what I needed. I needed the freedom, the liberty, because for so long, for so many years, the last several years, I've been a prisoner in my own body. You know, when the girl Rosie Beam said that she realized her rock bottom was when she realized she couldn't wipe her own ass. And some people take that for granted. Like, it's so, but it's like, but then you get to a certain point, like, look at my 600-pound life, where you can't fit into a shower. You can't fit into a regular seat. You have to, you know, whisper to the flight attendant for a seatbelt extender and stuff like that. And when I start seeing that those things that I felt ashamed of, those things that I was, you know, kind of cut off from in life, I'm able to participate in that in life again. I'm like, this is working. This is like, you know, this is what I wanted. I don't care about being skinny. I just care about being healthy. I care about being able to do fun things with my husband. I want to wear cute. Well, I do want to wear cute lingerie. So
sure.
But isn't that what Dr. Fatima was talking about in the first Oprah special, where she was like, she doesn't give her clients a goal weight. She will ask you, what do you want to do? And like what age, and then they just kind of go. I kind of like the ebb and the flow, but I'm glad that Oprah had that mother and daughter back on, because remember the last special, that mother was a little hesitant, and she was against it.
And then she saw,
saw the light bulb moment.
She saw what is Oprah calls them aha moments.
She did.
Yes. Yeah. And that made me cry, because seeing her daughter, the transformation just from that, like last fall to now. And I think that's why many of us who've been in the community, and this time next year, those that will be in the community, like when we get those on this day post. I now purposely try to repost them. Because like we talked about when Weight Watchers bought Sequence, that made national news. It was on Good Morning America. We talked about it, and the evolution. So it was just really good to see that mother and daughter there, and they were dressed alike, and
she did a really good job of like keeping things full circle, and like
I think so.
Ones that maybe like not our agreement, like, and I think that she'll do more and more, and like dig into like, you know, naysayers and such. You know,
do you think she'll do more?
I do think she'll do more. She said on the after show,
she is.
And the answer is yes. I mean, like she is the one that's in a place to help change things. Like, I just got a little podcast. She Oprah. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that this will bring her back into like pseudo talk show?
No, I think she'll just do specials. She's 70 years old.
Hey,
tired.
One special at a time.
Oprah works when she wants to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. But I think even doing two and starting the conversation, I think that she'll continue it. She's not one to quit, you know? It's one thing she said, and I don't know if we have a clip of it, but she said she was sort of alluding to the fact that she was a very successful person, but she couldn't control this.
I'm
And
smart
how
enough to
that made
figure
her
this out.
feel bad, right?
Yeah.
Like I for sure have had that in my life. I for sure have been like a career and friends and all the things. And oh, she's beautiful. All it right. But I couldn't control.
Oh, Brian, thank you.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for your
Brian.
membership, friend.
Brian from
Thank you,
Chicago.
friend.
Brian, thank you.
We
And
appreciate
also,
that. That really helps us.
And also, Nick, I'm not sure if anyone else noticed the shirt that you have on, but I just noticed it.
Oh yeah, the Zep Bear.
Yeah, and I think it's really cute, and
I
I
love
would
it.
love to
You have a
know
TikTok
where
shop?
you got it.
I designed it,
Oh,
but it is on Redbubble. Just search Zep Bear, and you'll find it. Yeah.
I don't even know what Redbubble is.
it's like a Shopify.
Is it like Etsy?
Sort of, but for like t-shirts and stuff.
Print on demand, I think is
Listen, I love a good statement tee, honey.
Thank you.
Love it.
I love you a good
Do we have
statement
any
tee.
more clips? I can't remember.
We got one more. Yes, we do. The rest of your life.
Rest of your life.
And do you have to be on it for the rest of your life?
Yeah, the data would support that. I mean, we have good trials showing that when these patients stop the medication, the disease comes back.
Both of you are consultants to the drug companies. What does that mean?
What that means is that they're looking for our expert opinion to be able to deliver high quality care to patients.
You know, I've been involved with some of these companies in developing educational programs and modules for medical students and medical trainees to learn more about the disease of obesity.
Start rolling my eyes.
A little
again.
bias against compound. I've
There I
been
go
working for
again.
years with these companies.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I think it's interesting. I mean,
You're gonna take it the rest of your life. Yeah. Well, I gotta take Synthroid the rest of my life. So
but like the thing is she is right. That's what the doctors have taught us on the show is that the data does support that it is a chronic disease. But again, like the doctors aren't necessarily like, I think they keep talking. It's driving the shit out of me. These doctors need a marketing consultant or a PR person or someone to go, the way you're saying it to the average person with an, I don't know, average 8th grade education is not going to land. Like, break it down. And
Did
like,
anybody else feel like they didn't, like
don't.
these two doctors, they were not nearly as relatable as the doctors that she had on the first special?
Right, like,
I
feel like
agree.
the doctors
Yeah,
that
I
she had on
agree.
this special were like this. They kind of had their nose up a little bit and like, I'm educated.
They
I'm
were
gonna tell you all
stiff,
these
yeah.
things, but I'm not gonna. I don't relate to you in any way.
Nope.
I'm gonna educate you.
Not
I'm not gonna
relatable at all.
You're not
Right.
relatable. Yeah, I agree.
There's
The
something really
relatability.
interesting,
I
though.
did not think that they were misinformed.
No.
I definitely think that they shared things that we've learned from the doctors on the show from many, many experts. It does seem to align. So I was happy about that. And the fact that no one started that conversation of insulin resistance when you had an obesity specialist on a show blew my mind. It really did. It was a miss.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with Dr. Velasquez,
Mhm.
though, I actually know someone that works in her department at Cedars,
Mm.
and I've heard good things.
Mm.
And to Cedars, like on their website, they had this statement that I still use as kind of my motto whenever I can, which is excess weight is not due to a character flaw or lack of willpower.
Mm-hmm.
And actually reading that from Cedars was like the first crack that opened for me that it's like, oh, this isn't, you know, you don't have to hate yourself to lose weight because it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
So I come from like knowing kind of what I know of her secondhand. I give her some credit. I fully agree, though, a PR person may have helped those statements be crafted better. But I think that I think
they're being thrust and like obesity specialists are being thrust into the limelight. And I do think they have a responsibility. And if you're going to communicate, it's very different than talking to a patient, right?
Yeah.
It's very different than it is. And talking to us on TikTok, who we hear this, you know, every day, all day, you know, it's very different than when you're talking to America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we're full of different levels of experience and education and, you know,
Right.
and I think there's an opportunity there that Oprah can work through that, you know. She certainly has all the people in place. But I think that honestly, guys, if they were just talk to some TikTok creators, clearly they already are, right?
Yeah. Well,
they're in lives. What lands? Or they could just go and look, for God's sakes, come to jump in our lives. Hear what lands. Hear what lands. We try different things all the time because all we want to do is help. Because when you've been sick your whole life or for a very, very long time, and then all of a sudden you're better, you want to throw away your crutches and do a little dance, and that's what's happening, right? Like, we just want more people to know. We just want more people to know. That's
but they do hop in our lives. The media is in our lives.
Sure.
The media
Everybody hops
is
in.
scouring TikTok.
They're lurking.
They mentioned it. They said we needed TikTok.
Yes.
On the special.
And we've been saying this, Lydia, Kat, myself, and then Sabrina, we've been telling the community, be cognizant what you post because the media is all over.
They're everywhere.
They're
everywhere. The literal big brother. They're everywhere.
And they're scouring our pages. And they will even email you. Kim knows. And I had a major media news outlet approach me last week. I was on the phone with Kim and the email popped up. And I said, whoa. And they even had the video. And mind you, I posted this almost 2 months ago. They had the link.
They're lurking. They're lurking.
They might pass around like the news desk or the assignment desk and all that stuff. Yeah, stuff gets passed around.
Oh yeah.
Because they gotta show it to like your news director, your news person. So
right.
Yeah, I got interviewed by GoodRx a couple months back.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh,
I saw your post. I was like, yeah,
it just came out this week, last week. I can't remember. Every days are running together, but I've noticed like with them, they're very good at destigmatizing these medications and showing this is how it's helping people.
Yeah.
Like they are big cheerleaders over there of GLP-1s, and that's a good thing. So I love that.
Yeah, I'm and you just don't know who pops up in your lives. You really don't, or even if they lurk on the outside, and it's just like
I can actually usually tell when it's someone in media asking me the question. They ask me like they're interviewing me, and of course, like they're not going to credit.
But aren't you sure it's
like help someone? I don't care.
Love it.
As long as it helps somebody, I don't care.
Yeah.
But what if it's the fifth Elon Musk that it's
oh, the Elon
I
Musk?
know.
Yes. He's been trying to reach me.
There's so many.
Him and Keanu Reeves.
Keanu, that's right.
Listen, I keep getting Keanu has like 11 different profiles and they all have different pictures. And every single 11 personalities of Keanu Reeves all want to be my sugar daddy. I'm like,
right.
Exactly. And then we'll talk.
Like, get in line because you know what,
my dear. I did have a guy slide into my DMs a few months ago offering to be my sugar daddy, and he was dead set serious. And I was like, I told my husband, and I was like, look at this is stupid. He goes, I'm sorry, how much is he offering you?
Will it pay for the Mounjaro?
Just only for right, I'll put you on loan. It's fine.
Okay. Put him on game.
I just want pictures, and he's like, all he wants is pictures. And I'm like, but sir, no, we are married.
Well, I know we've been on quite a while, and we could probably go forever. I like to Jerry Springer it at the end and say, like, does anybody have any final thoughts that they would like to share?
I do.
What is it?
I just want to quickly say that I have healed so much because of the podcast. I had a lot of hurt, a lot of trauma, a lot of anger and shame, and this podcast has changed my life. So I feel like you guys deserve the flowers. You guys deserve all the flowers. And I just want to say
about you guys. You're on this team.
Yeah, you're on it.
You're on this team.
But this podcast has learning, right? Like what Oprah was talking about, the shame and it's my fault and all of that. I have released that because of this podcast. So thank you to everyone. Thank you.
We have exercise.
I feel the same. The last couple of weeks have been really rough with my mom getting, saying the cancer's back and everything. It's like, the never ending going to the hospital. She's discharged, going back in, and then constantly worrying. It's like, I hold a lot of things very close to the vest. I just told my closest friends today that her cancer is back, and it's been over 2 weeks this has been happening. And this show tonight was like the bright spot of the last 2 weeks for me.
Good.
Because, like I said, it's been really rough.
We're so glad to have you here, and you had so many amazing contributions tonight. I about lost it at least 3 times. Like the plate thing. Oh my God, Kim! I was like, "Suck your tears up, bitch!" Like I was just like, I can't. Like like your contributions are so important. And
Yeah, like I do need to probably put that on a t-shirt. Someone said put it on a t-shirt. And you know what?
Right.
I might have to
put on a t-shirt.
I had to merch it.
What was it called again?
Redbubble.com.
Redbubble. Kim's gonna put on
Redbubble. Say no longer to the plate.
Okay.
Do you have a Mounjaro like pseudo t-shirt, or is it just the Zeppy?
You know what? This is my first endeavor. Let's talk.
Right? Bear. I don't know.
Let's talk.
I might want to do that prisoner to the plate thing. I'm
okay.
Hey,
you should
design it.
I'm gonna steal what
Nick,
Kim.
I think you have to explain to Janine what a bear is before she tries to wear the thing.
Look,
you know what? I think I should look at her face. Oh yeah, so I think I should do a whole talk about it. Does anyone here know what an otter is?
Yes.
The animal.
I know what a bear in the gay community is.
We taught, exactly. That's what. So we taught, or I guess, we as a group taught Cena what an otter was, and that was
like
I'm still a little confused, but I wasn't gonna tell them that. So.
Cena didn't know what an otter is.
No, not the animal, Janine.
Not the animal.
Not the animal, baby.
It wasn't that animal.
An animal is an otter is a skinny bear. It's someone who's hairy but is not large.
I've never heard that term before.
Let's take this off.
A skinny bear.
Educating anywhere I can.
I think you should make a TikTok series about this, Nick. This is your next
opportunity.
Let us
that is like a skinny bear.
Get all the people.
Yes.
Wow. I can see the stitches of duets. It's gonna happen, man.
I learn something new every day.
I was gonna throw you under the bus. She said I was just gonna let her wear the shirt. She wasn't gonna.
Hey, listen. I would be like, hey.
Sure. I like it. That bear.
So,
I like it. JT be like, whatever, I don't give a shit.
Look, hey,
it's cute.
I don't care.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, now, and can I just say thank you to each and every one of you all. And I'm like Kim, when I started this medication, I'm kind of glad that I was super green, because I probably would have overthought it and I wouldn't have started. Yeah. But I had just gotten to rock bottom, and I said, what else do I have to lose? I mean, it can only go up from here in terms of my health. I'm like, good God. I didn't realize how much inflammation I had in my body. I didn't realize it. And this community, this, podcast has just been a lifesaver. It has been a lifesaver. And I talk to you all more than I talk to my trifling family sometimes. I'm like,
I definitely do. My family's like, where are you?
Right.
I'm like, I have a million businesses.
I got a million jobs.
Well, she was taking a risk while she was
trying to change the world.
No, that was product placement. She was like, I have a million businesses.
I support them.
Right. I was trying to show off my ring earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
Oh, God.
Okay. I'm just saying, when you get a ring from the boss party, therapy is eventually going to go to the podcast. So I'm working on it. It ain't there yet. It's still in a deficit, but we're getting there. We're getting there. He does support the podcast along with this and other things that you do. If you go through a
plus-size water bottle that's
in the podcast. Thank you.
Do you
now,
have the
Tim, I want to
Zepbound
make
one?
it
Link in bio.
Yes, in my link tree. I have the link
Yes.
there in my
In my
bio
link
too.
tree.
In the link of the tree.
In the show notes.
And I've been wondering what it is. I've been thinking like, okay, I got too many Stanleys. Do I really need another one?
Definitely need
Yeah,
it.
you can
Yes,
always
you
get a
do.
plus size baseball cap. Like I have
I
a
need to fix that
t-shirt
logo.
tank. Yeah.
I got to drop off, guys. I just wanted to say thank you so much.
It's been thank you for coming on. Everybody, I appreciate you coming on so much and sharing your perspective. And Tiffany, thank you for being brave enough to share things that you knew may not be popular. It's very important that we hear all sides. So thank you.
Of course. Yes.
And I appreciate your light very much. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
I've
I've enjoyed
enjoyed
great.
You're a doll. Thank you all for coming on. I
I know,
appreciate it.
that's why I have to go to bed, because now I've got to get up at like 6 a.m. to go live.
We gotta do the laughs.
So, yeah.
I'm an early morning girl too, girl. I know.
I know. We need our beauty sleep. We gotta go to bed.
We need it. I need my neck cream and my beauty sleep.
My cream.
All right, everybody. Let's roll the credits, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank
Let's
y'all.
ride.
Credits. Boom.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Side, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Side's podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Good night.
Good night, ladies. Thank you.
Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again, and the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need. Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name Zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/+sides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/+sides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details. Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.